It says live.
It does say live, which means that we're probably live now.
Nah.
And look who came in at the last minute. Chris Kapner joins the video.
Ooh, by the skin of his
Whoa, under the bell, man. Just under the bell.
I was gonna sit there and lock the door on him, and he slipped in right at the last second. Welcome, Chris.
What's up, man?
Yeah, how's everybody been doing? It's been an exciting 3 or 4 days since we did this last.
It's been a long day.
It has been. I was a little hungover this morning, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's every day for you, Mark.
Staying up till 2 o'clock in the
Then
morning.
we just played for 8 hours today.
Well, we hit brunch first, so that was good. Everybody else feeling good?
All right.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
sorry to be late getting in here. I don't know what was going on with my computer. I had to reboot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to come right up against this clock.
You absolutely did. That's all right, dude. So we'll do introductions again, just in case people didn't watch the first one and they're watching this.
Shame.
Shame on you. Go back and watch those. Or keep watching this. I don't care one way or the other, honestly. So what we do is we basically take all of the lists that have been given in. Rob has been forthright and, way ahead of the curve for a TO and has all of the lists crunched and checked, and then he did matchups, and I think he's talking with his mic on mute again. And then he gave us the matchups, and so what we're going to do is, as a group, we're going to read through the different tables, who's playing who. We'll read off the list, tell you where they're from. If we know anything about the players, we'll throw little anecdotes out about them too. We won't get into as much tactics-wise on what will happen with the matchups because you guys are masters. You should know how to play each other without us giving you tips. And if you don't, sorry, we'll tell you after.
If you don't, how'd you get here?
Yeah, how did you get here? Unless
Well,
you're
you probably mercenary.
That could be.
So yeah, that's
players out there.
There are a few, and then there are guys like Devlin Smith. So.
Oh, shot fired!
Yeah.
Shot fired.
Low hanging fruit. So guys, we'll go around the room. We'll start with Jake, then we'll do Chris, and then Rob, and then Jeff and I. If you guys want to pimp your podcast or tell us a little about yourself, and then we'll get started.
Cool. I'm Jake. I'm the rep for the Mid-Atlantic, and I'm one of the hosts of Unplugged Radio. You can find us at unpluggedраdio.com. Just replace the G's with the number 3. We're also on iTunes. I just posted the 4th episode today.
And I'm Chris Kapner. I'm the rep for the Midwest, and I have a podcast as well, Lake SWAT Fantasy Squad. You can find us on iTunes or at the website lakeswatfantasy.com. It's Lake SWAT, like the SWAT team, so 2 T's. And that's about all I got.
Chris, you may want to unplug your mic or your microphone and plug it back in one time. I think you have a shady connection on the mini pin.
Shady. So I'm Rob. I'm from the Countercharge podcast, and I'm TOing this Masters Shindig. And that's it. I'm
Jeff Swan. I don't know if you're listening to the BeerPhase podcast. I guess that's how you found out about the matchups. So anyway, playing for the South, co-host with Mark and Ryan Smith for the BeerPhase podcast. If you guys care to check it out. So.
Yep, and I am Mark. I am also the South chair, and I made the team this year, so I get triple duty on this stuff. But all right, guys, let's go into it. So we left off from table 17 last time, so we're going to start off with table 18. We have Patrick Justice from the Pacific Northwest, and he is matched up against Scott Holcomb, who's playing for West Coast. Jeff, I believe you have Patrick's list.
I do have Patrick's list.
Let's hear it.
All right. Patrick is unfortunately playing against Scott, so he's not going to like this. All right, so here we go. We got Night Stalkers. We got a legion of bloodworms. They've got the Brew of Sharpness for +1 to hit. Not too bad of a combo there.
It's a decent little upgrade.
Yeah, he's got a regiment of Reapers twice. One of them has Blessing of the Gods, one has Chant of Hate. So, he'll have Vicious on one, Elite on the other. He's got Doppelganger Regiment, Brew of Strength. I think that applies afterwards, so I guess that's legal. Right? I guess it's legal. Phantoms, you got a regiment of those with Brew of Haste. So he'll have a fly 11 on those Phantoms. They shamble, so I mean.
Yeah.
Needle Fangs, he's got 2 regiments of those, so vanguarding swarms pretty much. A Shadow Hulk, I love Shadow Hulks, man. Those 2 guys are awesome. Planar Apparition ×1, a Void Lurker with the Onyx Ring for 1,990 points. I just really don't understand why the extra 10 points wasn't like thrown at maybe the Needle Fangs or something. There's no real downside to spending your other 10 points, but okay. I mean, it's an option.
Who's got Scott's list?
I think Chris does, but he's having some audio problems. It looks like.
Chris, are you on mute still? Chris,
he can't even hear you now.
What year it is?
It's like one of them game shows where you're in those boxes and you can't hear the response.
Survey says
he may have to leave and then come back in.
That's all right. All right, so I will take over Chris's duties and I will read Scott's list. I just need to pull it up. Here we go. Good old Scott Holcomb is bringing his Abyssal Dwarves. He has a horde of Decimators. They have the Heart-Seeking Chant. We have 2 troops of Gargoyles. We have 2 Lesser Obsidian Golem hordes. One of them has the Flying Hammer. We have a horde of Abyssal Grotesques. There is an Overmaster on Great Abyssal Dragon with Ensorcelled Armor. We have an Abyssal Half-Breed Champion. He's got the Blade of Slashing. There are 2 Iron Casters. Both of them have Surge 8 upgrades. And then there is a Greater Obsidian Golem. So we have a couple of things that shamble, and we've got Surge 16 sitting on the table. Initial responses, guys. How do you see these playing out?
I guess I'll go first. Scott is a longtime friend of mine. Known him, he got me into playing Warhammer back in the day, so I know his play capability very well, and he knows this army very well. And this is a horrible matchup for Patrick because he's got all this shooting and not like a lot of crushing, like a decent amount, but nothing crazy. But not shooting. Sorry. He's got lots of units that just have like low crushing amounts here, not shooting rather, but low defense pretty much across the board. Which I don't know, man. I'm just looking at this, just thinking, what are you gonna do against the stone walls that Scott has and the mobility that Scott has on that Abyssal Dwarf list? Because Scott's list pulls no punches, man. And that Decimator Horde is pretty much going to point and click its way to victory versus what Patrick has to bring to the table. And I just feel like if you're not taking your 10 points, it's kind of weird list building tactic. But yeah, man, I think Scott's got everything he needs to lock down all the stuff that he really is concerned about, enough chaff to chaff anything that he doesn't want to play with, and just a massive amount of defense on this. And with the surge capability he has, he can just turn on a dime and tear this to pieces. I think Scott's got this one pretty handedly.
Jake, Rob?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think that between the breath weapons and the high defense, it's just going to tear through the Night Stalkers, and what the Night Stalkers are throwing back at is not going to be equipped to deal with that. So pretty much what Jeff said.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I kind of agree with you guys. If Scott had some of the more traditional shooting, then being a Night Stalker actually pays off a little bit. But Scott's going to be all over him pretty quick.
Or if it was, next year with a different, comp.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Hide in terrain for the love of God. Yeah. Rob?
I mean, Patrick's a super tight, meticulous player. He'll get the most out of this list.
So you're going with
Yes, with Scott.
I'll go with Patrick.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that Chris is probably going to be a bit
Chris is going to vote present, and we will move on.
Bueller.
All right. Next up, we've got table 19. We have Devlin Smith, mercenary hailing from the Southeast region. And then we've got Brian Coquit, one of our Southern buddies, coming to town with us on table 19. Jake, you've got Devlin, right?
Yep, I do.
Let's hear it.
So he's running Empire of Dust with Abyssal Allies. We've got, for the Abyssal Allies, 2 regiments of Tortured Souls. Then for the Empire of Dust, we've got a horde of Skeleton Warriors with the Fire Oil. A horde of Revenants that have 2-handed weapons and the Brew of Strength. A horde of Enslaved Guardian Archers with the Brew of Keeniness. 2 regiments of Scavengers. A horde of the Revenant Worm Riders with Brew of Sharpness. 2 Scorpion Husks. And then we've got, 2 Cursed High Priest, both with heal and both with the breath attack upgrades.
So another lacking the Pharaoh. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian is bringing his Trident Realms list, and he has done pretty damn good with those all year. He has 2 hordes of Ogre Boomers as allies because what do a bunch of fishmen need? They need some ogres with breath attacks. Then he has 2 hordes of the Naiad Ensnarers. He has a regiment of the Naiad Worm Riders. They have Dwarven Ale on them. He has a Nucker. He has 2 Coral Giants. He has a Placoderm Defender. And he is bringing the Trident King. And I need to point out that the Placoderm Defender has Wing of the Honeybays. Jeff, you play a lot of Trident Realms as of late. How do you like this one?
I do. Brian's list is real tight. It's a good list. I mean, didn't really take anything that isn't kind of optimized in the army. The Trident King's the only thing that's kind of questionable on optimization, but I think he's super versatile in what he can do. I think his biggest issue is his lack of drops. Honestly, he's looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's got 10 drops, and there's a lot of points in them. And the Naiad Worm Riders are the only thing that I particularly don't care too much for in this setup. I don't know that as a regiment that they have a lot of value to them for the 9 attacks and the kind of low break point for their point costs. That's my 2 cents on it. Nucker's freaking amazing, so good. And those Coral Giants are so powerful. It's a good list. The thing that he's going to run into a problem with here is Devlin is no joke with Empire Dust. He's a great Empire Dust player and knows exactly what he's capable of doing with that list. I think this is going to be a very tight match. Very tight match. I think I have to go with Brian on this one, though, because I've seen what he can do on the table, and I think he's going to be able to take out the punch where he needs to take it out. But this can certainly go the other way real quick. So I'm going to go with Brian.
I'll jump in. Obviously, Devlin's a good friend of mine, club mate. He is a strong player. People always overlook him, and then they're wondering why they're getting their ass kicked. So Devlin, I think Devlin's going to take it.
Yeah, I've got to go with Devlin. I like this Empire Dust list a lot. I think he has the tools needed to take down that Trident Realms list. The Boomers, I think, are going to get shut down pretty fast. There's a lot of fast flyers that can just, chip away, block it for a turn, while the rest of the army just hits them. So,
Gotcha. Chris, are you back?
I think so. Can you hear
Hey,
me all right
you
this
are.
time?
Yes,
Sounds
so much
perfect.
better. There you go. Perfect.
Sorry about that, guys. Computer
worries.
issues tonight. All right, I'm catching up here. I'm looking at both of these lists.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Jeff's assertion that it's going to be, it could go either way here, and it's going to be pretty tight. I'm gonna lean with Devlin on this one, and vote Devlin just because I think the Trident King is not that great. And there's one other unit in there that I'm not a huge fan of either. But at the same time, maybe Brian knows how to use that better than I do. But I'm gonna vote for Devlin.
I will say, Brian, I played him in Alamo. He's a hell of a player. I mean,
Yeah, he's a good
and
player.
that's not a. If the scenario goes his way, he's got a very good army for certain scenarios.
Yes, he does.
Sure.
Yeah, you've run into it already. You've seen what it can do. So
Yeah. I'll go last here. I think Devlin does have the tools in his list to beat Brian. The one thing that really scares me with Brian's list is he really only has one thing that inspires, and it's that Trident King.
Yeah.
And if something happens to that,
it's very inspiring though. He's so inspiring.
So inspiring. He's
so inspiring.
If something happens to that, like, he might be in trouble. Even then, I know Brian's a really solid player, and he's been playing consistently with a lot of our other Masters guys down in Houston. So I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to vote Brian. But if Devlin pulls it out, it's not going to shock me. Depending on when he pulls it out, it might shock me. Cheap.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the tightest matches for game one. Honestly, this can definitely swing real quick.
I can see that. Cool, guys. Looks like we are moving on to table 20. On table 20, we have James Valdez, the Mountain Chair, and he is playing Tim Bowie. Not sure if he's related to David Bowie or any of the other Bowies, but he's hailing from the Mid-Atlantic, but he's playing for the Northeast. So they're doing that thing where they shift players again, Jeff. How does that make you feel?
All right.
No comment,
Just
right?
king making all the time, motherfuckers.
Kingmakers. Rob, you've got the first list. Let's hear it.
So I've got James's list. He's playing Abyssals, and he has a troop of gargoyles. He has 2 hordes of lower Abyssals. One has the exchange shields for 2-handed weapons. I guess they both have that.
Yeah.
He's got a regiment of 20 succubi with the Brew of Strength. He's got a regiment of Abyssal Guard with the 2-handed weapons and Brew of Courage. He has 2 regiments of Tortured Souls. He has a regiment of Abyssal Horsemen with the Caterpillar. He has an Abyssal Champion with the Wings, because that's what you would do, right?
He doesn't come without him, does he?
He doesn't have encircled armor.
That's true. So he has 2 Efreet, one with the Heart-Seeking Chant, and he rounds out his 2,000-point list with the Abyssal Temptress with Bane Chant 2 and Inspiring. So pretty strong Abyssal list. A little different than what you might see. More lower Abyssals than I think I've seen in most Abyssal armies.
Yeah.
Not quite as much shooting. So it's a little bit more balanced.
Yeah, no monsters, no flying monsters. I don't know about that. All right, we got Tim Bowie. Mr. Bowie. Oh, I was wrong, Mark. Look, someone else did take Ratkin.
See?
So I feel like we're going to have valuable input on this, since this is like literally what we play every week. All right, so Ratkin here. We've got a 1, 2, 3 hordes of shock troops, because 1 is good, 3 is amazing. Blight, 1, 2, 3
Holy
hordes
shit,
of Blight.
he's putting bodies down.
Bodies, dude.
Look at
Put
that.
the bodies hit the floor. 1, 2 weapons teams. They came. He didn't unclick the piercing. He kept it. The Blight Lord. He's got 2 of those with Bane Chant 3, just because you just never know when you need those. Storm Vermin have Crushing Strength 2. And then 2 Warlocks as well. Is that right? Yeah, 2 Warlocks
that is
also
right.
with Bane Chant 3. Good lord. Swarm Crier with the Healing Charm. No Enforcer with the
Inspiring Talisman.
Weird. That
Honestly, with all
is
these boards, he
damn,
doesn't
dude.
necessarily need it,
Jeez.
does he?
Yeah. Wow. That is. I'll tell you right now that list is painful. I've fought something very similar to
I
that
like it.
list.
Yeah.
You know whose it reminds me of is Gush, James Gush's list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot like James Gush. A little less shooting in it, but still, wow. It's a cool list, man. I really appreciate it. This is gonna be interesting because you've got two guys that are both taking lots of bodies, lots of hordes, lots of grinding. Right, is gonna be going on here, but what I'm looking at is James, Mr. Valdez just does not have the outmaneuvering capability to do what he needs to do to get around these hordes so well. I mean, he's got the Tweet Freets, which is really going to help him out in this setup. But yikes, man, that's a ton of nerve in that Rakan army too. Eesh.
I don't
If
know
I
how
had
much the Freets help him though, because
they're
they're only
massive.
height 1, you know, and they'll.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're going to do some damage to the hordes and stuff, but I see all these characters just sitting behind these hordes, virtually untouchable
you
from
can.
the Freets.
Those Efreets can just melt a unit of the blight and stuff quick. Anyway,
Yes.
Real quick. But the point is like, honestly, that those storm vermin are gonna just. You have to dedicate so much to killing those storm vermin hordes, and just his combo capabilities of what he can put into those storm vermin are not going to kill them in one go. Not without taking hinder charges, not without all that other stuff like that. As an Abyssal player who plays against Rakan all the time, I'm telling you, this is gonna be tough for Valdez on this one, for sure. I certainly think he can do it, but my money, if I had to bet, is on Tim.
I played James when he had a very similar list to that he's got here, with my Ratkin, and he did fairly well against me. I think he had the Archfiend though, and he's missing that now. The only thing that I see in Mr. Bowie's list that kind of throws me off is like there's not really chaff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
he just straight up hitting bitches in the face, man.
He's just coming across trying to hit you, but with those wide hordes, man, like he'd be opening things up. So, God, that's tough. Like, there's merits to both of these lists, and I really do.
Totally.
I like how neither one of them is the prototypical what we're used to seeing.
Far from
for either of these, right?
Far from.
Oh man.
The thing that Tim's list doesn't have that I expect a bit is I only see one source of oh no, I'm misreading. So there's 3 sports. Never mind.
Yeah, he's got inspiring
3 sources of inspiring.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah,
that's a tough.
He's got
tough
2
list to crack.
inspiring for the blight, but they don't inspire anything else. So he's really only got one thing that inspires those shock troops.
Right.
Yeah. It's an interesting list, though.
It is.
Well,
Jake, Rob, you guys
what's your
have
call, Mark?
I'm going to chime in. I'm going to root for for James just because I want to see an Abyssal army with infantry do well.
Well, both of them have infantry hordes here.
No, but I mean, you don't normally see 2 hordes of lower abyssals in an abyssal.
That's true.
In an abyssal horde, so that's the one I'm going to root for.
But you also have to remind yourself that they go down to defense 3, right? So, and I know, and
with all
scary with those weapons teams.
Yeah, I think I'm going to weigh in with the Abyssals. I think they have just a little bit more ability to touch the other army at range, and without the chaff to sort of try to fuel around where the movement's going to go, I think that could push it to the edge if we're assuming both the players are at the same skill level. And I don't know either of them, so that's what I'm going to do.
All right, so you're going with James then, huh?
Mm-hmm. And plus, if I got to rep someone, might as well rep a fellow, person in the council, right?
Right.
As well. I'm going to agree with you. I think James just having that little bit of chaff gives him a bit of an edge. His list is a little bit faster, where he's got things that fly and can move 10. move 8 on the knights. So he's got a little more speed up his sleeve that he can use. So I'm going to give the edge to James, but I really like Tim's list like a lot.
It's kind of cool because it's very like Skaven looking, just huge masses of bodies.
Just blocks. Yeah.
And Tim was a Southeast player that didn't have 3 dragons or 2 dragons in their list. That's
No, he's a Mid-Atlantic player.
Mid-Atlantic. He's from West
Going
Virginia.
to the Northeast.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So
But he comes to a lot of Midwest events. He's part of the crew that comes to all of the Mike Carter events.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Chris, you were going to weigh in?
Yeah, I'll make my prediction here. I think this would be a fun game to watch, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm going to go out and say Tim's going to pull this one off. Okay. And the reason I say that, I just have this feeling like the scenario is going to allow Tim to hold down a couple of sections, and he's just got some stuff that's going to be tough to move. Obviously, James has the advantage with some speed, but none of it hits as hard as it needs to move things in one go. So, and there's a whole heck of a lot of just Bane chants all over the place on this list.
Just so much Bane chant.
So much Bane chant here that
he's got Bane chant 12 in there. I mean, that's
if you don't move those hordes, then they're punching you back in the face, and they're getting Bane chanted, and your units are going away. So I don't know. I like Tim's philosophy a lot. I'm voting for Tim.
Cool. So we've got Rob and Jeff. You guys need to weigh in.
I already read in, and I said Tim was going to take it.
Okay. Yeah, and I said James.
Hear that. Yeah. All right. You said James. Okay, cool. We are moving on to table 21. I'm going to butcher this last name. John Vanez from the Northeast. Vanas. See, I told you.
I was waiting for the...
That's okay. I'm going to butcher this next name on purpose. John is playing Justin Ballsack out of the
Ballsack.
But he's playing on the West Coast team because he wasn't good enough to make it on the South team this year.
That's right.
So they can have our Ballsack rejects. Chris, you've got John's list. Let's hear it.
All right. Oops. I flipped the page over and I didn't need to.
Maybe you don't have John's list.
No, I have John's list right in front of me here. All right. He's playing elves. He has a horde of kindred archers with the heart-seeking chant, a horde of Therinian Sea Guard with the brew of Keeninus, a troop of Silverbreeze Cav with fire oil, and a regiment of Stormwind Cav with the potion of the caterpillar, a horde of Drakon riders with mace of crushing, 2 elven mages, one with Bane Chant 2 and the inspiring talisman, the other one with Bane Chant 2, a dragon kindred lord, and a Drakon rider lord. The dragon kindred lord has the medallion of life, and the Drakon kindred lord has the diadem of dragon kind.
Of course he does.
That rounds out his 2,000 points.
All right, and then I have Justin's list, and he is playing, looks like it's ogres.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 3 regiments of red goblins with bows, 4 regiments of ogre warriors. One of them has traded their shield. I'm sorry, 2 of them have traded their shields for 2-handed weapons. Then we've got 2 hordes of ogre warriors, one with fire oil, 2 hordes of ogre boomers, 1, 2, 3, 4 army standard bearers, one with the war bow, and then a red goblin bigot on a flea bag.
Y'all are welcome. he kept posting up this list he was messing with, and we're like, no, dude, more bodies, more.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to chime in. John's got this one in the bag. Ogres have a hard time against flyers, and I don't think Justin has the tools to deal with all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. I gotta go with John. I know John very well. He's a really tight player. This isn't his first Masters. I think his list has the ability to outshoot the ogres and outspeed them, and that's not a good combination.
I'm gonna go with my boy Ballsack here, because this dude has been to every single Masters. He's he will downplay how good he is. He's a good player. He knows what he's doing. He has a lot of sacrificial stuff in here too. Like, I mean, it's just a lot of chaff capability, enough little pew to maybe pop in some fun little waivers, enough stuff to chaff up and shoot over. I think that Justin is definitely going to be more drunk at the table, and I think that is the best way to win. So,
that's an accurate statement.
I'm going to go with Justin.
Chris?
Yeah, I'll go next. I really like Justin's list. I love regiments of standard ogre warriors. Personally, I think they're just so solid, and they almost work as chaff you have to fear. It's where are the siege breakers? Where are the stuff you usually see is missing from his list, which is awesome, and I really like this list. I think Rob makes a good point, though. There's so much speed. There's enough shooting with these two hordes. Hitting on fours, getting Bane chanted with the mages sitting behind him, both of them. It's going to be really tough. John doesn't have to do much. He can shoot off a lot and start picking stuff off with his really fast stuff. So I'm going to go with John on this, but I do really like Justin's list.
I can hear Justin at home flipping us off right now.
He wants everybody to pick against him, so they win.
He did. Well, you screwed that up for him then, Jeff. I got to go with John's list. Justin's not really going to be able to hit anything unless John's ready for it, and he's going to be flying around, breath attacking the shit out of him and shooting the shit out of him until he's ready for it. So, Justin, you're going to lose, man. But
am I the only one to pick Justin then?
You're the only one to pick Justin.
All right, right here for you, Justin. Come on, right there. I know you're playing for West Coast.
Yeah, one trader to another. Good for you.
That's right.
All right. Moving to table 22, we have Andrew Summers, who hails from the Midwest region, but he is playing in the Mountain region. And on table 22, they are playing, he is playing Ray. I'm going to screw this one up too. Wynett. He is from the Northeast, playing for the Northeast. Good for you for making your actual local team. We've got a lot of mercenaries lately. So Andrew and Ray are playing against each other. I have Andrew's list, and I need to pull that up right now.
Go Brotherhood.
Where the heck is he?
Mountain and Northeast. Mountain for Summers.
There he is. Okay. I was looking for Andrew and it said Summers. Okay, cool. So Andrew has got Brotherhood. He has 2 regiments of the Valayan Plowshares. God, this is going to be a fun discussion topic. He has 2 hordes of the Water Elementals. One of them has Diadem of Dragonkind. Good pickup there. Order of the Redemption. He has a regiment of those. They have the Caterpillar item. We have, oh my God, I hate this. The Valayan Reconnectors, and I know that's not what it says, but that's not what I'm going to call them. He's got a troop of those. Then we have a horde of the Forsaken. They have Brew of Strength. Then we have 2 Forsaken Beasts. Both have Ensnare and both have Breath 10. Then we have a Devoted with Surge 5 and the Inspiring Talisman. And then we have the Exemplar Forsaker with the Ensorcelled Armor. And that is Andrew's 2,000 points.
And I've got Ray's list. And let me just say this. Fantastic. We have an undead player with no vampires.
Oh,
That's
nice.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got Soul Reaver, but he's got no individual vampires running around, which is great. So his list, 2,000 points. He's got a horde of Revenants with Fire Oil. He's got 2 troops of Wraiths. He's got a regiment of mummies with Mace of Crushing. He's got a regiment of zombies. He's got a horde of werewolves with the Brew of Strength. He has a regiment of Soul Reaver cavalry with the Caterpillar. He has a Revenant King on Undead Worm with the Brew of Haste, which is kind of a neat little touch. Yeah, so that's reaching out and touching someone real quick. Necromancer with Bane Chant and Inspiring Talisman. And he has Morgoth, because that's what you do. So
Okay,
that's
well, kudos for not having a vampire.
Yeah.
Vampire, but he has more.
hey, he could have 2 vampires and Morgoth. So
Yeah,
could always be rougher. I like
he
the
wouldn't
list,
have an
though.
army.
It's a good list.
I played a lot of games against Ray. He's actually from like Harrisburg, PA, so it's only about an hour north of me. And he's a really tight player, and this is pretty much the list he's been using all year. So I think I'm going to vote for him. I don't know the other guy, so I got to go with the element I know.
Cool. Chris, do you have any input on Andrew Summers?
No. He's kind of we're across the Midwest from each other, so I have
Yeah,
not.
he's from Indianapolis or Indiana, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
He's real popular, or he's real prolific on Facebook and those websites.
Yeah, I wish I could add more insight into his ability and stuff.
Well,
but
I just saw he was from Midwest. I didn't know if you really ran into him a lot or anything.
yeah,
I'll chime in. I think Ray's got the tools. So regardless of the players, I think the Army. I like Ray's Army a little bit better than Andrew's in this scenario or in this game.
I'm going the complete opposite way here. I think that this Brotherhood army is pretty dang good. It has a lot of stay power in there. It's definitely got chaff in there, which is really nice by comparison. The stay power and the regen power on this Brotherhood list, as well as having the Forsaken Beast with the Ensnare in there. Ensnare just in general is really, really difficult for undead to deal with, and they're just nasty. I mean, they'll stand there for a while, and he's got enough stuff with. He's got a little heal and stuff, and enough inspiring to span his entire army easily. So, and that Exemplar Forsaker with that encircled armor, do not count that guy out. That guy does amazing things. Just such a freaking pain in the butt to get around. So I think it's going the complete opposite way. Actually, I think Morgoth will even have a hard time staying alive versus this list. Honestly,
really, you think he's going to be able to pin down Morgoth?
Well.
that's
You
a
have to
prediction.
run away the whole time. I mean, you have to be able to put him in a safe place. Like he'll have enough safety for a couple of rounds, but just the stay power on like anything that gets a single charge into any of the Brotherhood stuff, it's not going to break it. Even like his hardest unit, the Soul Reaver Cav, is not going to bust one of their units in one go. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know, man.
I agree to disagree on that one. I think he can bust stuff on the charge.
Well, look down the line. All of his stuff in melee hits on 4s, right? So 4s and 5s. You got werewolves hit on 3s, right? That other than the Soul Reaver Cav. If you have the ensnare, when you can put it where you want it, you can kind of choose a couple of charges because he does have further distances.
I get that, but saying it across the board, not everything across the board had ensnare is what I'm getting at.
No, he had enough to hold it out. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're both good lists. I think that Summers has a really solid Brotherhood list here, and it's what I like to see in a Brotherhood army. So that's definitely where my vote's going.
Cool. I'll throw down. I agree with you. It's a very good Brotherhood list, even though I can't pronounce half the damn things in there. I just hate those namings. Nick Williams, you dick. Anyway, I'm going to hear about that later. Anyway, I like Andrew's list, but I think Morgoth kind of puts it over the top the other way. I think Ray's got enough things running around to kind of keep everything that Andrew has at bay, and then Morgoth can jump around and really piss him off. So Andrew, it's a good list, man, but I got to go with Ray on this one. I think Ray's going to win.
I'll jump in here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to really come down to scenario on this, as a lot of games are, obviously, for Masters.
Right, yeah.
Don't we say that every round?
Yeah, we say that every round. But boy, I feel like there's like half the scenarios where I'd pick one list, and the other half of the scenarios I pick the other list.
Oh,
It
okay.
feels like
I
that,
get what you're saying.
But gosh, I like both of these lists a lot. I think they bring a lot of versatility to the table. I think both these guys are coming to play that weekend. I keep bouncing back and forth in my head.
Right.
I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote for Ray on this, but I think it's gonna be a tight game, and I could easily see it going to Andrew on this, especially if he gets, that Order of Forsaken is a really nice unit with the Brew of Strength. I feel like if they can get in the right place and get off a charge on something that Ray needs to have later, like Jeff was pointing out with the Soul Reaver Cav and the Werewolves hitting on threes. If they go down early because they miss a charge or something like that, to the Order of Forsaken, I could see Andrew taking that game. So
yeah,
really tight game. I'm looking forward to that game too.
All right, guys. Moving along, we go to table 23. We have the Northeast versus Mountain. We have JT Graycheck versus Corey Wolitzer.
Graycheck. I'm going to guess that's not how it's pronounced, but I could be wrong.
That's how I've heard it pronounced.
Graycheck, I'm going to guess.
But I could be wrong.
Well, it's G-A-R.
It's G-A-R. So
yeah,
Garcheck.
no, I've heard people call him Graycheck though, so I don't know if that's right. Because we've gone to Bug Eater and he's been there and he usually wins it. So,
Spoiler alert.
Jeff, you've got the list.
So JT is playing some Undead with Night Stalkers. Okay, so Undead, he's got a horde of werewolves, naked, obviously, a vampire lord on a horse, because why not? He's got, for Night Stalkers, he's got a regiment of specters with the scrying gem. Got 2 troops of the Shadowhounds, love those, so great. Nightmares regiment. 2 hordes of fiends, because Night Stalkers. One of them has Caterpillar, and one of them has Brew of Strength. He's got a singular Mind Screech, and then he's also got a Screamer, who doesn't have any items, and another Screamer with no items.
Yep.
So, yep.
Cool.
So.
All right.
Next.
I will do Corey Wollitzer's list, playing Varinger list with Ratkin allies. So I'll start with the Ratkin, a regiment of brutes, and a death engine with vile sorcery upgrade.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Before the defense gets hit on that thing.
Yeah.
Then the Varinger is he's going with a horde of Bloodsworn, with the Gift of Korgon giving him the Headstrong and Fury and a Brew of Strength on that unit. Horde of Fallen with the Dwarven Ale. Mounted Sons of Korgon Regiment with the Headstrong and Fury upgrade and the Potion of the Caterpillar. Troop of Horse Raiders, and they are swapping their throwing weapons for bows for a little additional reach there. And a Devourer with the upgrade to get Vicious and
Nice.
Breath 10. A Magus, and I may have had this cut off, but it's just 1, correct?
No, you've got
Yeah, Fanulian Amulet, and then another one
Okay,
with
there's 2.
Inspiring. Yeah.
Okay. The way this printed out on my sheet. Okay, there's
Man,
2.
you're using paper, Chris? That's impressive. I didn't know anybody read army lists on paper.
Well, last time around, I was sitting there spending half the time trying to click into everyone's list, so I thought I'd print everything out. So one of those has the Inspiring Talisman, and then we have a King on Chimera with the Medallion of Life, also with the upgrade for Headstrong and Fury.
Yep.
So
2 very
solid
optimized lists. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in and say Corey's got it. I've played a lot of games against Corey, and I've gotten 19-1 by him a lot of times. He's a really solid player. He's won or been in top 5 for pretty much every Northeast event that they've had. So he's not going to make any mistakes. And there's a lot of Night Stalker players up here, so it's not anything new to him.
So he's not going to get caught off guard then, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I like both these armies. I think I like Corey's a little bit better in the matchup. I just think that JT's lightning bolts are not going to have as much of effect as he would really like for them to have, and he's got a lot of points invested in doing that. The Fiends are obviously good, but everything in Corey's army has the crushing strength to drop those guys down to like nothing for defense. So,
and don't forget they can get plinked from long range with that
right.
lightning.
Yeah. Well, they got
Death
stealthy.
engine,
It'll
too.
help a little bit, but
The lightning.
he doesn't have the death engine's piercing bolt, dude.
The Magus.
They have fireball, not lightning
What?
bolt, I think.
Oh, I thought they had lightning.
No, pretty sure. Lightning bolt 4.
Lightning
That,
4.
They have 2 lightning 4s. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Wait,
the
so
other one-
did we just see an instance where Mark was right and Jeff was wrong?
we see that a
It
lot
happens.
on the calendar.
Somebody
Oh.
just edits it out all the
Oh, I
time.
see. Okay. All right.
It happens. Yeah, I just think with this Night Stalker thing, like, I mean, he's got a lot of just really squishy stuff besides those Fiends, right? Like the Shadow Hounds twice are troops, and then he's got the Nightmares that are reasonably easy to take down as well. He's got the Screamers, which aren't going to be that great, and they're not super mobile. I just think in the matchup, I think Corey in this matchup is a better call, in my opinion. I think Corey's got this one pretty good.
I agree with you. I think here's kind of the problem. Varangar want to get on top of you and beat the crap out of you. Night Stalkers
And he
want
does,
to,
yeah.
Night Stalkers want to get on top of you, finesse you a little bit, and steal your leadership.
Yeah.
So they're both going to be running at each other, and I don't see that going really well for JT. So he's actually going to have to play off, which means he's probably going to have to forego a lot of instances where he would have liked inspiring. So I got to go with Corey here. I think Corey is a really bad matchup for JT here.
I'll chime in. I'm just gonna say Corey because why not?
Best argument of the night, Rob.
Exactly. I'm going with what Jake said. He says he's a great player.
He is a great player.
We'll put the money on Corey then.
JT's pretty good too, from what I
He
hear.
is. He's very good.
One thing being underestimated, nobody's really brought up, is the horde of werewolves and a mounted vampire running along beside him. That's a pretty nice team going on there for JT.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But I do think Corey has the answers to answer against him, and so I'm going to go with Corey on this. But I think it's going to be a good fight.
Vampire's obviously good. It's just like it's not going to win you the game in a scenario-based game. Like it's good.
With
It's just
the
not going to win
werewolves
you
and the
the game.
vampire both speed 9, all hitting on 3s. You've got crushing strength there. It's with the inspiring, vampire inspiring the werewolves, defense 5 and 6 on those units. I think it's a pretty strong little combo.
Problem is though is the vampire. I mean, it relies on trying to hit something that isn't going to hit it hard back with crushing strength, and everything in Corey's list is a threat except for the horse rider guys.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Is that
That's our
everybody?
first landslide, 5-0 on the
Ouch.
list there.
Sorry, JT.
Yeah, sorry, man.
First one tonight.
Win it.
We're moving on to table 24, and I just want to give a big shout out to our Justin Rignid, the biggest man in the Southeast. Take it away, you guys.
All right, so first up, we've got Joe Cottrell from the Mid-Atlantic, but representing the Northeast as a Merc. And let's see, it looks like he is using elves. We've got 2 hordes of elven archers, one with Brew of Keenness, one with Heart-Seeking Chant, 4 hordes of Drakon riders, and then a Dragon Kindred Lord with Ensorcelled Armor.
He knows what he wants to do.
Good Lord.
That's 5 flyers. Yeah.
That is.
Drakon hordes, don't leave home without them.
Yeah. And if you could take 4, why not, right?
All right. So
Rocked.
Justin is from the Southeast, repping the Southeast. Did you get that right? Yeah, I did. Cool. I flipped off too quick. All right. So Justin's list, he is bringing Varangar, and he has a horde of Bloodswarm. They have the Headstrong and Fury rule from the Gift of Korgan. He has 2 hordes of Cave Trolls. One of them has Blessing of the Gods. We have the Fallen. He's got 2 hordes of those, one with Brew of Strength, one with Mace of Crushing. He has a troop of Tundra Wolves, and he has 2 Kings on Chimera. One has the Life Leech upgrade and Medallion of Life. The other has Ensorcelled Armor. There's not a lot of drops for 2,000 points.
Yep, neither
For
of them.
either army.
Neither of them.
Oh. Golly, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, I will be quick with mine because this should be pretty
7 versus
straightforward.
8 drops.
Yeah. I do not like Joe's list at all. I think you're clouding up your shooting lane enough to where the bows are not as good as they could be, and want to be in combat, but you don't. And it's fine, but I don't think it's going to do well over the weekend even. But
Well, there's nothing with
Justin's-
Pathfinder, so you can just sit in the woods and just be like, okay.
yeah. It's that's rough, dude. And the huge breakpoints that Varangar come with, and the double chimeras can go lock down those units. Like, I'm sorry, man. I feel like this can be the other landslide for the night. Yeah, Justin all day.
And if the scenario goes anything remotely for like needing to be in a certain area, control, anything like
totally.
that, it's going to be so bad for this alpha
Or
list.
especially if it's loot. If it's loot, just go home. Yeah, like
Or push.
don't even deploy.
Really, you think in the control scenario with 5 things that fly, you wouldn't have a decent shot at it?
Oh, I
mean,
think so.
I think because it's going to be hard to keep the person out of your deployment zone, and the Drakons, maybe they can jump over at the last second, but I don't know. I think with that in terrain, jumping around is not going to be what they'll get one good charge maybe.
Yeah, you gotta remember we're gonna have 9 pieces of terrain or so, and landing a horde footprint of those guys with a limited amount
minimum
of
of
range.
9 pieces. It's gonna be between 9 and 12 pieces.
It's
So
not gonna be easy to land those guys unobstructed. So
I don't know if I agree with that. I think both of these lists are trying to do the same thing, right? Bring really strong hordes and just kind of punch you in the face. The difference being Joe's bringing a couple of hordes of archers. Now, what I do know about the terrain and the way things are going to be set up, there's going to be a lot of cover all over the place, and which makes it really hard on these kindred archers, even if Joe's sitting back and letting the enemy come to him, because he's going to win the shooting match here between the two. I just feel like, honestly, when I saw Joe's list, I'm like, this is a list I hope doesn't win anything, because I don't like seeing 4 Drakon Rider hordes out on the table and a Dragon Kindred Lord. I just don't like it. 2, fine. 4, come on. And then, just the hordes of archers and stuff. It's just like, it's not the type of game I necessarily like to play. But then Justin's almost doing the same thing.
So what you're saying is you don't want either of them to do well in the next.
So when Chris Kapsner gets jumped in the parking lot after round 1 by 2 unknown assailants, we need to go after Justin and Joe.
Well, let's put it this way. My one army is bringing in as many drops as these 2 combined. So that just shows the different kind of style there. But I'm going to go with Justin on this, but I think it's going to be just like, I don't know. It'll be one of those games. Justin.
What do you think,
I don't even know why exactly. But
Mark,
I think the archers will have a tough time because there's a lot of cover, and then a couple of hordes into them, and But
yeah, I'm taking another look at this list, and I think Justin should win this, but I could see a scenario where if Joe plays KG, he could pull it off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. In the interest of being different, I'm going to go with Joe.
So that leaves it to me, I guess.
It does.
All right. Well, looking at Joe's list, I mean, 4 Drakon Riders, that's a serious punch. But knowing how much terrain we're going to have, if it was me, I would have probably left the archers at home and took chaff or something else. I think Chris said it. You're going to get the Drakon Riders are going to get in your way. You have 5 flyer units. They're going to get in your way. And also, don't they want to get out there and touch somebody? Well, once you get into combat, you're not shooting them at that point.
That's what I was saying. His list felt confused.
So that being said, you got to bet on black, right? I mean, Justin's the man. Every time I discount that guy, he pulls some ass move from somewhere, and he's like, you walk to his table, and he's totally getting his whatever pushed in, and the next thing you know, he's got a draw or he's got a win. And so I'm not going to count the big guy. I mean, every time I'm going to bet on black. I'm going to go with Justin.
So what happens when you do bet on him? Does he always lose?
No. Well,
Okay.
he's come a long ways, though. The first time I met him, he was at a tournament. He came in dead last out of 8 players. And ever since then, he has slowly been working his way up, and he's played lots of different armies. He's been playing Varinger for the last little bit. He's a good player. He's a solid player. He knows his stuff. I mean, he's going to pull it out.
Alrighty. So let's jump into table 25. We have Steve Bassler versus Kara Brown. And Steve is from the Mid-Atlantic, playing for the Mid-Atlantic. And Kara Brown is from the Midwest, playing for the Pacific Northwest.
What happened there?
The tournaments she won were not the bigger tournaments, and she ended up just missing the cut, actually. But she has won Masters qualifiers in our region this year. So, and is a former Adepticon champion.
So I've got Steve's list.
Okay.
He is playing Twilightkin. Have we had any Twilightkin yet?
No, I don't think so.
He's a
Well,
shoe
maybe
in
the
then, I
only
would
one.
think. Yeah, he might be the only one. So Steve has got a horde of crossbowmen with the Brew Key Inus. Get it out of his system, I guess. He's got 2 regiments of Reaper Guard, one with the Blade of Slashing. He's got 2 troops of gargoyles. He has a horde of Abyssal Riders with Caterpillar. He's got 2 Twilight Dragon Breath war engines. I don't think I've ever seen those on the table ever. But to be fair, I don't see
They're good for 90 points, man.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
they are.
Mhm.
With Vicious?
He's got a Dragon Lord on a black dragon with the ensorcelled armor. He has a High Priestess of the Abyss with Banechant 2 mounted on a horse with the Inspiring Talisman. And he has an Army Standard Bearer with the Diadem of Dragonkind, and he's mounted on a horse. And he has Basusu. Because you got to have Basusu. So that rounds out that Twilightkin army at 2,000 points.
All right, I've got Kara Brown, who is playing for Pacific Northwest. She's going with the looks to be trusty Abyssal Dwarves with some allies, I think. So we got Abyssal Dwarves with Slave Orcs, a regiment of those guys for Chaffy Chaff. We got a troop of Gargoyles, 2 hordes of Lesser Obsidian Golems, Abyssal Half-Breed unit, a regiment of those with a Caterpillar. Abyssal Grotesques, Brew of Sharpness, that's a horde of those. Abyssal Half-Breed Champion, like you do. He's actually naked. Ironcaster with Surge 8 and Inspire. And a Greater Obsidian Golem. And for her allies, she went with 2 hordes of Tortured Souls.
Huh.
I will
Interesting
say,
list.
Kara's done very well with Abyssal Dwarves. She did not take Abyssal Dwarves. She was taking Basslands to like Adepticon and stuff like that. So, and she was less familiar with that army when she was there. And she was on the 3rd table last game on that. But she's much more, I guess, experienced with her Abyssal Dwarf army. I'll throw out a prediction first here of this one. I like this Twilightkin list, but I know Kara is coming in with a chip on her shoulder, and
Is it because of you, Chris?
Yeah,
well,
you kept her out of her region, man.
Yeah, man.
What the
Kicked her off
hell?
the team. What's up, man?
Jeez.
Come on, Chris.
No one picked her for the dodgeball team.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm gonna think Kara pulls this out. She's very experienced with a list like this. She's been playing Kings of War a long time. She was our North American Kings of War champion until this past year. So, Kara, knock one out of the park.
I'm going to jump in and rep my boy Steve here, because he's actually one of the guys from Virginia, about an hour south of me. So I play with him a decent amount. He's relatively new to the tournament scene, so he does have inexperience, which is going to go against him. But he plays against Mike and Alex almost every week, and those guys are tough as nails. So I feel like he's getting basically tournament practice in his friendly games. So,
Do you know if he's been playing Twilight Kin a lot?
that's all he plays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was actually pretty excited when I told him we hadn't reviewed one yet in the first day, so I wasn't certain if we had any in the second day. So he's already saying, "Can I say I'm the best Twilight Kin player?" So.
Oh, they're a great army. I think people are just not really adept at playing the style yet.
Army.
Right.
Those Abyssal Riders are disgusting.
Vicious is
good.
really nasty
Yeah.
on the list too.
Oh, yes.
I wanna come in here and ring in on something. So with it being scenario based, we also have to look at a couple other things, not just the damage power here. And what Kara is lacking here is speed in the scoring units that are going to be able to keep up. Okay, so she's got 2 hordes of the lesser obsidian golems. She's got a big obsidian golem, and then she's got the tortured souls. 2 hordes of them. Being someone who runs some tortured souls, yeah, they also shamble. So, like, look, here's the thing: if this is token based, this is going to be a very big swing in a different direction on this. So, I'm gonna bet that it's maybe token based for game 1 here, and even if it's not, controlling corners, again, that's going to be very difficult when half your army is super fast and the other half is super slow. It's not taking away from her as a player. I'm just stating facts. Like, Steven's whole army is quick, and even with picking up tokens, it's still going to be quick. I don't know, man. I like Steven's list a little bit better in the application of it being token based or scoring in sectors. I just think it's much more mobile, and like I said, anytime mobility comes in, and the dude has Basusu, man. Like, Basusu could just run a train on half of these units by himself. It's just crazy how ridiculous that guy is. So I'm gonna go with Steven. I mean, the money says Kara, but the scenario for me, I think you have to point out those things.
I'll jump in. I'll go Kara. I mean, she is a very methodical player, and as Chris said, you know, he screwed her over. She didn't make the team.
It's all his fault.
No, it's all his fault. But no, in all seriousness, though, I'm sure there's a little bit of wants to make the team and have a good showing. So she's going to play the hell out of this game, and she's got the talent to do it. I do like Steve's list a little better.
Yeah.
But I think Kara's going to pull it out. She's going to find a way, and if she gets the right scenario, it could be a little easier. But like Jeff said, if it's the wrong scenario, she's going to have to really, really work at it.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, this is tough. I flipped back and forth on who I thought it was going to be like twice now. When in doubt, I go with speed. So I'm going to go with Steve, just because he has fast stuff and not just, killy stuff, but he's got fast chaff too. So he's going to be able to probably prevent her from getting to certain areas if he needs to. So I'm going to take Steve. I wouldn't be surprised if Kara wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Steve wins either. And I'm just going to edge with the list I think I could probably do better with myself. I think it's this one.
So did everybody vote?
We voted. It is 3-2.
So this next table makes me smile because you cannot have 2 individuals that are this different. Period.
Would you like to elaborate on what you consider different?
Well, okay. Tony Nelson is maybe 6'5", 6'4". I don't know. He's huge. Aaron Chapman is not 6'5". And then obviously their disposition. Aaron, every time I see Aaron, he's got the face of a stone cold killer. Whereas Mr. Congeniality. So it's a really interesting juxtaposition between the two. This is going to be a fun table for you to watch. I want to see this. This is going to be good.
All right, should I jump in here and read off Tony's list then? All right.
And he's playing for the Mid-Atlantic from the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, he was your 9th spot, right? Isn't that right?
Yes.
And see, he slid in and took a spot, so that's awesome.
Cool.
All right, we have some ogres with Basilean allies. Starting off with the ogres, we have a horde of warriors with the Dwarven Ale, horde of berserker braves with Blessing of the Gods, 2 regiments of siege breakers. You don't oftentimes see them in regiments.
That's interesting.
A horde of shooters with the Brew of Keeninus. That's unique. And
Wonder where he came up with that one. That's original.
An army standard with the healing charm. A red goblin bigot mounted on a fleabag with the diadem of dragonkind. And Grakagamok, nicknamed Smash Adams, in here. Then for his forces of Basileia, he has a horde of Alohi called the Flyboys, and a phoenix called America.
So those that don't know, Tony's army is a Boston Tea Party.
Oh, it's that
army.
It's that army.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
It's
I've
fantastic.
seen pictures. That looks awesome.
So that's what all the names are about. So.
That's great.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's sweet. All right, who's got Aaron's list?
And then I've got Aaron's list. Sorry, I was just picturing an ogre tea party.
Pinky's
So-
out.
Exactly. Aaron is playing for the South, right? Yep.
That is accurate.
Yep.
And he is playing Forces of Nature. So we've got 3 hordes of salamanders, 3 winged unicorns, 3 with lightning bolt, 1 with wind blast as well. Then we've got 3 beasts of nature. All 3 have lightning bolt, fly, and vicious. And I think that's it, right? There's not anything on the.
Yep,
on the-
that's it. Do you need anything else?
It's a lot of lightning bolt.
Yeah. It is. It is a lot of lightning bolt. Yeah, so I guess I'll start. I think Aaron is gonna just pull this thing to pieces. I mean, bad, like real bad. Just the concentration on those lightning bolts and the ability to heal anything that you're able to put down on the hordes that are going to protect his stuff, like plenty of scoring units. Not a lot of speed out of the ogres, as Rob has alluded to in the past. You know, the shooters are going to be the only thing with the actual reach. I just think that Aaron is going to just pull this thing to pieces pretty bad.
I'll jump in next. I so badly want to pick Tony. I so badly want to choose this army, especially with the red, white, and blue. With the Boston
I
Tea
think it's a
Party
cool army.
Oh my gosh, I want to pick it. I just think he's going to have a really hard time with Aaron because he's, Tony added some speed with the Basileans to compensate for the ogres being just overall fairly, mediocre in speed getting across the table. But there's so much lightning bolt coming his way that he can pick off the speed and then worry about the rest of the stuff. And I just think Aaron's got this, unfortunately. Sorry, Tony.
It's not just lightning bolt. A lot of it is vicious lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad. Yeah. No, I like Tony's list, actually. It looks really good. If he gets lucky with the shooters, like, it may turn into a game, but even then, I think Aaron's going to be throwing a lot of heal if he needs to. And I think Aaron... I got to play Aaron with this list today.
So did I.
I don't want to tell you how it went because I'm still having PTSD flashbacks, but I'm voting for Aaron.
I'm going to vote for Tony, mostly because Tony's my co-chair, so I'm going to vote for him.
That's called throwing your vote away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
precisely why we threw the T in the harbor in the first place.
this is probably like maybe one of the worst matchups for ogres,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I mean,
pretty
there's
awesome.
just,
Yeah,
I mean, pretty much
very
ogres don't want to see a
painful.
lot of flying, right? But they really don't want to see a lot of shooting like this because they just don't have enough bodies to absorb it. So I think I'm gonna have to go Aaron. I know Tony's throwing stuff at the TV right now, but I gotta go. And when he throws stuff at the TV smashes, right? Dude's huge.
Well, you can't blame him, right?
No, but I mean, I do think though this could be closer if he lands on a table that has 12 pieces and there's a lot of stuff there, and he plays, it's the right scenario. It could not.
That
it
is
could
the
end up being
worst.
closer.
That is the worst thing that could happen to him because if Aaron's
because
whole
what you do
army
is-
is Pathfinder and no negative.
Right,
Yeah.
just sit.
Shooting.
No, but if he just sits behind the hill and plays for the draw. Is what I'm saying. If you can just stay
Yeah.
behind the hill,
Yeah.
just play for the draw,
No, I
which is what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no hiding from Aaron. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's so much 24-inch range there.
Yeah. He's coming and he's taking it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I think. Who else? Did everybody
You
go
were
on
the
this one?
last one. We got 4.
All right.
You'll get a
Listen-
real clean game though, Tony.
You will.
Aaron's a clean
Yeah,
player.
he's very
So-
precise.
Yeah. Well, Tony is also an excellent player as well. So this will be one of the better. This is gonna be a fun table to watch. So let's keep moving. We're moving to table 27. We've got Tom Stother, and he is from the Northeast, playing from the Northeast against my man Jeff O'Neill, number 2 or number 3 from the Southeast.
All right,
So-
give me a second because he's using that weird font.
Yes.
All right. Do you want me to go first?
No, I've got it up. It just takes me a second to read this stuff because it's in that weird script. All right, so Tom has 2 greater obsidian golems. He has 2 Ankar heavy mortars. He has 2 hordes of lesser obsidian golems. One of them has Brew of Courage. The other one has Blessing of the Gods. He has an Abyssal Half-Breeds Regiment with Brew of Haste. He has an Abyssal Grotesque Horde with Macklin's Caterpillar. He has 2 Abyssal Half-Breed Champions. One has Ensorcelled Armor. The other one has Blade of Slashing. And he actually does have an Abyssal Dwarf in the list. It's an Ironcaster with an Inspiring Talisman. Yay! We got one
We
dwarf
found
in
some
the
dwarfs.
Abyssal Dwarfs
He
list.
found a dwarf. Well, to be
Really?
fair, somebody's got to shoot the mortars.
They probably have slave orcs doing it.
So Mr. O'Neill has been rocking this list for a while, and I know some of the people on this cast have been ridiculing it. So I cannot wait to see this Goblin army kick the shit out of people, because it's got so many flipping drops that a lot of people you can murder a unit, but he's got 27 more. So this is goblins. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regiments of spitters. He's got a horde of spitters with the heart-seeking chant. He has a troop of fleabag riders with the grenades. He's got 1, 2, 3 troops of sniffs, 1 with fire oil. He's got 3 trombones. He's got a flaget with the boomstick. He's got 3 whizzes. He's got 2 troops of flame bearers. So he's got some allies there. A regiment of flame bearers. And he's got an Efreet.
For those people
So-
counting at home, it's like 190 shots.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now, people who are like, well, trust me, play it and then make a decision. But I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, you'd have to have an army. I don't know.
You'd have to have speed to jump on top of it.
Yeah, but see, the thing
This
is, you
is
got so
such
much
an
shit that even if you kill one unit, there's 9 other ones.
Yeah, but those 9
So-
other units aren't going to kill you in combat. They're going to try and
It doesn't
shoot
matter
you.
though. You can only kill 1 unit a turn. There's only 6 turns. So let's say you kill 12. You follow what I'm saying. He just gets you to come in. I don't know. Forget it. I don't know what you do.
If I could pick one game out of everything that we've gone through so far from both casts, this would be the one to put on a movie screen, right? You have these huge golems and rock monsters and stuff. Everything's like defense 5 and 6 marching across the field all slow. And these thousands of goblins just bouncing arrows off from the rocks. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Jeff's list on this. because I agree with Rob. When you have all this stuff, shambling or sitting back, you can't get to where you want to get to if the goblins just kind of push forward, and then you can't beat them off from the objectives fast enough because there's just so many of them.
You got to beat them off.
Beat them off.
So I'm going to go with Jeff, but this would be awesome to see.
Be awesome to watch him beat some dude off.
That's what I heard. So I'm actually going the other way on this one, just because the sheer amount of defense and the stay power of all of this defense 6 stone stuff everywhere. He's got these heavy mortars that when they connect are gonna just pull off whatever unit he wants because he can fire them indirectly. That's a big thing. If those things come down on a turn, it's gonna be blink, dead, blink, dead, blink. That stuff picks up stuff pretty easy. But what he also has here is those half-breed champions. Dude, those guys, I think he even has one with defense 6, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's got ensorcelled armor on one.
Yeah. So those guys can literally almost run around with impunity, except for lightning bolts, and go hit down and lock down any of the shooting stuff he doesn't want to deal with. The rocks are going to just absorb all these sticks. You're just going to plink right off them. It's a lot of shots, but dude, you got to roll a lot of dice. And on top of that, get through defense 6 and move to, if it's a movement scenario, I don't know, man. Even if O'Neill does pull this one out, it is definitely not the matchup he wants to have for his round 1. It's not something he wants to see. But I'm going the other way. I'm going with what is it? Tom's. Yeah, I'm going with Thomas because I just know how much of a pain in the ass that is to get through.
He does have 12 lightning bolts sitting out there, Jeff. So taking out those half-breeds.
Is it 12 or is it 9?
It's 12 because he also has a flag it with a boomstick.
Oh, he gave him the amulet too. That's right.
But the half-breeds are defense 5 and then have regen on top of it. So I'm just saying,
but not a super high nerve. But yeah. No, I see what you're saying. It'll be interesting. I would love to watch this game.
The other one's defense 6 too, right? So he has encircled armor on the one. So it's it's not easy to do.
This game is really going to be a dice game. And it's going to be, is Jeff's dice on or are they off? If Jeff's dice are hitting and wounding those toughness 6 and toughness 5 models and units, then Jeff's going to win hands down because he's got hundreds of shots. But if he's just not able to crack that, and I mean, the more dice you throw, the higher you get towards the actual average of what you should be hitting. So it's like a coin flip almost. And
how many shots did you say he had?
190.
190.
Yeah, he's got 22 drops. Yeah. Okay.
Rob, is Jeff really organized and plays very fast?
He is the most articulate, how do I explain it? This guy can handle this army. He is not going to time out, not one time.
Not going to time out. Okay, that was
not going to time out.
There are a lot of dice
he's not Shannon Shoemaker, dude. He's not Shannon.
That's a pick for the cast right there. Least likely to time out the guy with 22 drops and 190 shots a turn.
And you know what? He's played this army several times and he's never timed out.
It's impressive.
Really? Wow.
Is he really good at hitting the pause button when
he knows exactly what he wants to do.
I'm sticking with my pick for Jeff then.
I gotta go with the Goblin list. I know Tom. He's a really nice guy. He's newer to the game and to tournaments. He's played solidly in some matchups, but other matchups, I think he's going to get shaken low because it's what he's not used to seeing. I think this amount of shots is potentially, if something goes south, it's very easy to panic and make a couple errors, and then it all falls apart. So Tom, prove me wrong, man. But I've got to give it to the Goblin list.
I think Tom can pull it out, but if I got to pick, I got to go with Jeff. I think the sheer amount of shots and the amount of time that
you're all missing it. Tom's wall is huge. It's going to be marvelous. It's going to be huge. He's going to just put all the shit behind the wall. The goblins are not going to be able to get past the wall. It's going to be marvelous.
So is that it for table 27?
That is 27. We're on to table 28.
Ooh, this is a good matchup. This is a very good matchup. It's Mule Vermeulen, the legendary man.
That's right.
We all know him from Warhammer fame. and we got Nathan Clevenger, who is another one of our really, really good players. So,
quick fun story. The last time Neil played somebody named Nathan was at the start of last Masters, and it did not end well for the person that Neil was playing.
Right.
Jeff, you got the list. Let's go.
Oh, do I?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I have Meal. Yes,
Yes,
I
you
have
do.
Meals. All right, Meal is playing Abyssal Dwarves as well. It's like Abyssal Dwarves, like the national army of Midwest. I feel like it is.
I feel like they carbon copied each other. Isn't that what they did?
It's crazy. So this one has 3 troops of gargoyles. It has It has 2 regiments of the obsidian golems. One of them has a warbow of Kaba. He had some points. The other one has the flying hammer.
Also points.
Yep. And then he had a horde of them with a brew of sharpness and a horde with the caterpillar. Sharpness on obsidian golems. I don't know. Let me think about that for a second. And then Overmaster on a Abyssal Dragon with the encircled armor. And then he's got a Iron Caster with Surge 8 upgrade to him. And then Inspiring Talisman as well. So he'll have 2 points of Inspire for the army. And then he'll have 1 more with Surge and the Unspeakable Darkness for bonus 2 Surge. He's got the Half-Breed Champion like you do. Boots of Levitation.
So he can throw the fireball.
20 inches and still surge 10.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not something I see often. That's why
He's got fireball too, so if he needs to use that, he can use that.
Yeah, it's just fireball. He doesn't have. Oh, yeah, he has surge 10.
Surge 10.
Okay,
yeah, he's got surge
half-breed.
10.
Okay, I get what it is there. I thought it was the half-breed grotesque. Anyway, yeah, champion.
Gotcha.
We got a goblins. He's got a horde of spitters with fire oil for his extra little allies there. A little extra range damage.
It's a pretty rough list.
It's weird.
It's different.
You wouldn't expect anything less from Meal, though, would you?
No.
I mean, Meal doesn't pull his punches.
He is not pulling any punches here, that is for sure.
Yeah.
No. All right, I'll go over Nathan's list. We have, let's see, Empire of Dust with Ogre Allies. So for the Ogre Allies, get them out of the way. 2 hordes of boomers.
Shock.
Empire of Dust, we have, this is pretty cool, 3 regiments of mummies. 1 with Blade of Slashing, 1 with Mace of Crushing, and 1 with Kevinar's Flying Hammer. Really utilizing those 5-point items there.
Got to.
We have a horde of enslaved guardians with Brew of Keeninus, a regiment of swarms, 2 bone giants, 2 cursed high priests with heal 4, and 1 of them with Amulet of the Fire Heart, so they could surge and heal.
Yeah.
And that should round out the list, I believe.
Wow. Who wants to go first? What a matchup.
I'll go first. This is a weird one for me because obviously I've known Meal a long time, and he is a tremendous player. But he hasn't been playing as much Kings of War, I don't think. On the flip side, you've got Nathan, who plays a crap ton of Kings of War. And he's playing the Jeff O'Neills. He's playing the Sean Williams. He's playing the toughest of the tough. However, he's not playing the army. He didn't bring the girl that that he's been dancing with all week and all year.
Yeah.
So this is a new army for him. And so I'm going to go with Nathan, but just by a little bit. If he was playing as dwarves, I'd be all over it. But the fact that he's got a newer list, I hope it works out for him. And I'll go with Nathan because he's a good player.
Yeah, I was kind of already on the same page. I just think what Nathan has that Meal kind of doesn't want to see is plenty of crushing to get through all that huge defense he has. And then he has a little bit more long-range extension to deal with stuff he doesn't want to have to deal with immediately. So I think they're both really good lists. I just feel like, if you're talking about Surge, the Empire of Dust does it best. And then on top of that, he's got just massive crushing in the bone giants, and then he's got the mummies, which are just gonna just sit there and tank those golems like for quite some time. I think, yeah, Nathan's got this one. It's not going to be huge, but I mean, just because Meal's a great player, but I think Nathan has it.
I think I gotta go with Meal.
Yeah.
The golems with the vicious, I think, are going to go through some of that undead stuff a little bit faster than otherwise. And I think I played against Meal, and I think we drew, and I kind of at the end of the game was like, how the hell did that end in a draw? Because he pulled it back from what I thought was going to be a really big win to me. So I one game against him, I was like, okay, I'm sold. He's a machine. So
The machine. Yeah, I got to go with Meal too. Even if he is a little rusty, that killer instinct that guy has doesn't really go away. And I know he was good. You know, he was good enough to make the Masters team, but not really be that active in the last half of the year. So, yeah, I'm going to take Meal. And it's nothing against Nathan. Nathan has a really good list, and probably a list that could beat Meal. I just think Meal's not going to let it happen. He's just going to tell him no.
Yeah, so Meal is a classic fantasy player out of the Midwest here. I think at the last U.S. Masters, the Final Fantasy one, he was our top finishing fantasy player in
Mortars for the win.
Midwest. And I've played against Meal. I've played against Meal with a similar list, only he didn't bring the gargoyles like he's doing here, and I kind of picked it apart. And we talked about it after the game, and I feel like he knows how to use these gargoyles to
I think he does too.
Control the board the way he needs to. And I'm going to pick Meal in this game, though I think it's going to be a good game.
I think you're right.
Is that everybody?
That is everybody.
So.
We're moving on to table 29, and one of our members of the cast is on this table.
Yep. So I'll
And
go
this might be
first.
the most. This might be the most happy table out of all.
This is a sportsmanship table.
This
Right.
is it, man. And they'll sell you
So
shit too. Perfect
It's
sales.
me against Grant Feder, so I'm pretty pumped. I'm excited.
It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah. And I've got my list just by luck of the draw to read. So I'm playing Undead, no allies. I've got 2 troops of ghouls, 2 troops of wraiths, a legion of zombies with undead giant rats, a horde of zombie trolls with blade of slashing, a horde of wights with brew of sharpness, a regiment of soul reaver cav with the push and the caterpillar, a mounted vampire lord with the brew of haste, 2 lich kings, one with bane chant, heal 6, and the fireheart amulet, and the other with bane chant. Both of them also have surge 12. That's my list.
All right, and you were fighting Mr. Grant Feder. He is loaning his talents out to the mountain region because he apparently couldn't hack it in his own region. Despite that, he is flying the national flag of the Midwest and playing Abyssal Dwarves.
Right. Seriously.
Jake, I know you intentionally went out of your way to not read his list until right now, so I will read it to you.
Awesome.
Everybody watch his reaction.
So, starting right off the bat, he has a horde of black souls with the brew of strength. So that's probably more Abyssal Dwarves that are in any of the other Abyssal Dwarf armies that we've read so far. He also has a horde of decimators with the heart-seeking chant. He has 2 troops of gargoyles. He has 1 horde of the lesser obsidian golems. They have the pipes of terror. It's a good upgrade. I like that. He has abyssal grotesques in a horde with the caterpillar. He has a rocket launcher. He has 3 of the heavy mortars. He has an overmaster on abyssal dragon with ensorcelled armor, of course. And he has a slave driver with the healing charm. And that rounds out his 2,000 points.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in. I know my list.
I'm gonna jump in right here.
Gonna jump right in
Smack
between
down.
Grant's
This is your
butt
chance.
cheeks.
Hey, tell Grant what you're gonna do to him, Jake.
Well, I mean, Grant does Grant play Kings of War? Like,
I don't think so.
It's like a casual
He
thing.
was looking for a game. He said he hadn't played in like 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to the match. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm not worried about the shooting. It's not something I'm worried about. I play against a lot of shooting heavy lists. If the heavy mortars are on for those first 2 turns, there's not a lot you can do about it. You know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I think I'll be golden. I'm not scared of the golems. I've got crushing strength up the ass. So yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I think the decimators will give you a little bit of pain. Maybe I mean, if like you said, if one of those mortars hits early and hits something like the vampire cav and then those decimators, oof.
Yeah, that can be really rough.
It can be rough if you can't get into them the way you want. But I think that your list in general is gonna be it's gonna be a more mobile list. It's gonna have a little bit more trickiness to it. And I'm not 100% sure that Grant has seen some of the trickiness that you can do with what you have in this list right here.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're not used to seeing it on the norm, you're not going to see it coming. So I'm kind of banking on that as well. And I think that Grant's list is really good. I just think that Jake's list has more tools, and I in general, I like having a bag of tools. So go with that.
I'll be short and sweet. It's Jake. He's playing a lot of Kings of War. He's playing at a high level. It's Jake.
I fooled you into playing at a high level. It's
Hey.
All right, I'll jump in. I love Grant. I wish I could pick him in this, but I think Jake is going to beat him just on a skill level. Grant's not a bad player. He just doesn't play a lot of Kings of War. I mean, he's played some Kings of War, but he's not playing, Kings of War multi-games a month against, good players and stuff. I think he could get lucky though, and I mean he's bringing enough where I've faced a list like this, and you just have that turn one where somebody just triple rolls that heavy mortar and hits every single one of them, and then just blasts the heck out
like 10 minutes. That's what happened.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I had everything. I mean, I had everything deployed right. I was going to be going in for the kill, and just it's not going to happen because you just rolled lucky, and it can really happen for Grant that way. So, but just list on list, and I think experience against it's going to go Jake, but it could go Grant's way with a early first 2 turns luck going his way.
All right, I'll go last so that you guys can dogpile me in the next table. I'm going to bet on luck. And I'm going to bet that Grant does get those like 5 hits out of 6 shots for the first 2 rounds. And even though I think Jake probably has the more all-around list, I think Grant's just going to pound him into the dirt with all those dice. And then, so here, watch this.
He has a rocket launcher too, so it's 4 shots a turn.
Right. You can thank me when he just totally flubs all those rolls, because what I'm going to do is while he's not looking, I'm going to walk over and I'm going to touch
dice
his
cancer.
That's right.
Oh no!
So I'm still going to pick Grant, but I know Grant's going to lose because I'm going to touch his.
Grant, it's on, man. It's good. I'm coming for it.
Six shots a turn is no. I mean,
no, that's no joke.
Coming at you.
It's not.
Is that everybody on table?
That is
29?
everybody.
Well, I'm gonna. This is a fun table. So table 30, we've got the man himself, Jerry Page, against Mark Cox.
It's about that booty.
It's about that booty. It's bootylicious.
It's all about that booty.
I've got Jerry Page's list, and of course, what's with the guys not using Easy Army, dude? What's up, man?
I don't know.
Come on,
dude,
man.
dude.
Help a brother out, man. I gotta read. I'm having a hard time.
Reading it in
Obviously,
this
they
script
didn't
is
get the
really
memo
hard.
in the Midwest. I had a couple of players not using Easy Army.
All right, so Jerry's rocking the elf armies. He's got Tree Herder. He's got a Drakon Rider Lord with the Blade of Slashing. He's got an Elven Mage on a horse with the Inspiring Talisman. He's got Drakon Rider, a horde of Drakon Riders naked. Another horde of Drakon Riders naked. He's got a horde of Forest Shamblers with the Brew of Courage. He's got a horde of Giant Eagles. He's got another
but wait, there's
regiment
more.
of Drakon Riders. Another regiment of Drakon Riders, and he rounds out his 2,000 point list with a unit of Spirit Walkers with no magic artifacts. So that's 2,000 points. That is a lot of flyers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
You're
flyers.
better off counting what doesn't fly in his list than what does.
Yeah. And what doesn't fly is already defense 6, right? Or 5. So
up
Tree
there.
Herder,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Mark.
Good. It's a
A
good list.
tree herder, again. Oh, there they are. Never mind. I was gonna say if he didn't take 4 shamblers,
He's got
in
'em.
this
Yeah,
army,
he's
got 'em.
yeah. I
Another
mean,
horde
it's
of 'em.
just silly not to have at least one. All right. Well, I got this dickhole Mark Cox lists, and I probably don't even need to read it. I can have it memorized by now.
Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning
No.
bolt, lightning bolt.
So Mark is playing for the South. We allowed him to play on our team this year.
You mean I allowed me to play on our team this year? By the way, I am the only person to make our team 4 years in a row. Justin is playing for West Coast, so I'm the only one.
It's impressive, Mark.
Just
It's a new
means
game
that-
now, though.
Yeah, we're a little thin on talent if I keep making it though.
Who's reading his list?
Jeff's supposed to, but I don't think
Oh, okay.
Jeff can read.
Did
Did you
Jeff
lose my
freeze?
list?
Did we lose Jeff?
You
You know what is
Timed out.
funny? So Swan is like, I am amazed at this Ratkin list. It's so awesome. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Look at that.
he
Look
sees
at
it
that.
up.
It's
He was-
so awesome.
He was
pulled it up on
going
his
to read
computer
my
and it froze
list,
his
and I
computer.
stunned him. He's stunned. I'm
I
the
think it's
only person that's ever stunned Jeff into silence.
You should read your own list. That's what I think.
No,
Jeff.
evidently it just kicked me out for some reason. The internet doesn't want to read your list. I opened
Well, we
it.
could just keep
It was
Jerry
just
in
so much
suspense for
awesome.
another 3 weeks. We don't have to tell him my list.
I opened your list, and then my computer's like, no, fuck that list.
It's a pretty
So
gross list.
anyway, I know this is gonna totally shock you guys, but Mark is playing Ratkin. I think that they're called Ratkin, right, Mark? No.
There's something about rats, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so he's starting with some shock troops, a horde of them, and then he's got a bladed slashing. Have you been remembering that? Because I feel like you haven't been using
No, I haven't. I forget it all
Yep,
the fucking
it. You're a
time.
dumbass.
But then again,
Fucking
they are
idiot.
shock troops. They really don't need it.
That's true. You might roll a 2 sometime.
Yeah, right.
He's got a horde of blight. He's got a horde of brutes with haste. 2 chaff regiments of vermintide. 1, 2, 3 weapons teams with piercing. He's got 2 warlocks. One of them's got inspiring. He's got the demon spawn with fly, and he's got some really sexy Night Stalker fiends that look really nice. I don't know why. I just
I don't
really
know
like
if
the way
that
they
nice.
look. And then a Void Lurker. Also, it's a pretty Void Lurker.
If
that
anybody
rounds
wants
out
to
his
throw
list.
dice at my Void Lurker or Fiends over the weekend, feel free.
Fuck you, better not.
Don't worry, Southwest will take care. Oh, you're driving, so you got
Yeah. Right? Seriously, why do you think I'm driving, motherfucker? Anyways, that rounds out the list. Yeah, I'm gonna go last since I have a lot of knowledge on this one. So somebody else go,
I'll go first. I'm gonna bet on Jerry Page. There it is.
because you're betting on black. Is that what you said?
Yeah, fuck you,
It's,
Mark.
Rob's still pissed off that I pummeled his ass at Shiloh.
He did.
Did you?
We
you
talked
bring
about
Night
this.
Stalkers
Lightning
to
bolts
Shiloh, Mark?
and ogre. It's a bad combination.
Mark,
What's
did
that?
you bring Night Stalkers to Shiloh?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it was this exact list with 500 more points on it.
sure.
Yeah.
Somebody else go.
All right. I guess I can say here. You go, Jake.
I don't know. I mean, I played Jerry, but I've heard Mark's good. I don't know.
You
That's just
heard, you
Mark
heard
saying
wrong.
that.
Yeah, you've heard wrong.
I think so. Here's the thing: the game I played against Jerry, we drew, but only because he forgot about the objective and killed all my stuff, and I grabbed something from under his nose, making it a draw. So if Jerry remembers the objective, I guess my vote's for Jerry. But my experience has told me that's not going to be the case. So I'll vote for Mark.
I was hoping you were going to vote for Jerry.
All right, I'll jump in. I think Jerry's bringing a really nice list here. He's got some anchors there that are going to be tough to move, and he has speed to get around. I like his list. It's hard to bet against Mark, though. You're very experienced with Ratkin. Sounds like you did very well with the Night Stalkers.
I did all right. It was okay.
Pulling a first place finish there at Shiloh with the.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that high. I was the last place car though. Like when I drove home, I was the last person in my car.
You were the
I was the Bowie anchor.
in the vehicle. Go ahead and back. So pretty typical for you there, Mark. I've played against Jerry. Jerry is very meticulous. He's going to be keeping track of where he's landing with everything very, very carefully. He has a lot of speed here. I know you've got some lightning bolts there, Mark, and you have your weapons teams with only the 12-inch range they can jump over. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna bet against you here, Mark, and I'm gonna go with Jerry.
Cool. I'll pick up from there. I look at Jerry's list and I see everything that is in there. He can actually use every single piece of that against me. So it's a really strong list. Jake, you actually helped me out by telling me to distract him and make him forget about the
make him time out.
Forget about the scenario.
He could time out too.
I can absolutely distract Jerry. I'm really good at distracting opponents.
I'm going to interject real quick. ATC, Shannon and Jerry are doubles partners, right? It's a team event where you play individually. Yeah. They both time out in the same game. No, they both timed out in the same round and went from first to like. Hey, just wave that booty, Mark. Wave that booty.
I'm gonna pull my pants down.
Bootylicious.
Dance off.
Jerry does play up against the clock. He uses every minute of the clock that he's given. So. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the discretion thing. I'm gonna actually bet for Jerry on this one. If he uses the list right, he can beat me with it. I'm not gonna let him, but he could. So yeah, I'm gonna vote Jerry on this one.
I'll round it out. So I get to play against this list like more than I care to.
Did you write it?
I mean, I helped.
Mark.
So the list is very capable of fending off lots of different threats at the same time, and it pretty much forces you to play on his terms. Jerry doesn't have anything that Mark's not used to dealing with, and like we said, Jerry's got a lot of flying in there. He's got to be able to have these landing patches to get to where he wants to go with it. I just don't think that Jerry has the poke that he needs. You really need to have some poke against someone like Mark's list. Otherwise, you're just playing on his terms all the time. And I really think that's going to come in to be a big factor. So I honestly... I think Mark has this one a lot more heavily than he's giving credit by any way, shape, or form. I think
so. Mark
Mark has probably one of the strongest lists at Masters in my personal
Okay, so what you're saying is if Mark doesn't win this, he is going to get ridiculed endlessly, is what you're saying, Jeff.
You get ridiculed anyway.
I mean, what I heard was Jerry needs to have a landing strip to do well. That's what I heard.
I could totally shave a landing strip.
Oh, damn!
I'm doing that.
Oh, this is derailed. It's derailed.
I'm going to put your initials down there, too.
But yeah, I
There's
mean,
the distraction.
this is going to be a good game no matter what. I mean, they're both seasoned players. They both know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any mistakes really that are going to come in. And you know what it really comes down to is, can Mark roll dice? And oftentimes the answer is no.
It's true. He's right. I really think turn 1, turn 2 is going to be the deciding factor. So,
All right, is that
Cool.
it for table 30?
yeah, man, we're going to 31. Lucky 31.
Adam Ballard and Mike Steele.
All right, I think I have Adam's list. He's playing
He is-
elves.
Yeah, from the mountain region and playing for the mountain regions.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it's awesome.
One of the few.
Yeah. All right, Adam is playing against Mike Steele, who is from the Pacific Northwest, playing for the Pacific Northwest.
Woohoo!
How do you like
We
that
have 2 unicorns playing each other. That's
Right.
awesome.
All right, Adam's list. He's playing elves. Kindred Archers Regiment with the Scrying Gem. 2 Palace Guard regiments, one with the Flying Hammer and one with Warbow of Kaba. We have 4 troops of Silver Breeze Cav. 2 regiments of Stormwind Cav. One with the Potion of Caterpillar and the other one with Brew of Haste to knock them up to speed 10. We have, get this, 3 Dragon Breaths. That is awesome to see.
Nice.
We have an Army Standard Bearer with the Diadem of Dragon Kind. Another Army Standard Bearer mounted on a horse with the Crystal Pendant of Retribution. That is
Nice.
so awesome.
Oh, I know what he's
that
going
rounds
to do
up
with
his
that.
spell.
They shall call him Landmine.
All right, and Adam is facing Mike Steele's Ogres, and Mike is coming from the Pacific Northwest for the Pacific Northwest. Let's see what this Ogre list have. We've got a regiment with 2 hand weapons, and then 2 hordes of warriors. Sorry, those are all 3 warriors. A horde of Berserker Braves, a horde of shooters with Brew of Key-Eyedness, a horde of boomers, a troop of Red Goblin Scouts, an Army Standard Bearer with the Healing Charm, a Red Goblin Bigot on Fleabag with the Piercing Arrow, Grakamak, and then a Giant to round it all out. I really like Adam's list. I think there's some cool stuff you can do with all that speed.
There is a lot of cool stuff in Adam's list. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
I think it's quirky, and I think if Adam knows what he's doing, which I'll assume he is since he's at the Masters, I think it's going to throw these ogres' heads just spinning around. So I'm going to vote Adam.
I'm going to do the same thing. Adam, and I'm pretty sure this is the same person I'm remembering, lives in Omaha and goes to the Bug Eater a lot, and he does really well there. And he was good back in Warhammer, and I'm sure he's still good now if he's making Masters. So, yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Adam has some really cool tricks in this list, and I cannot wait to see how he plays them off. It's going to be great. Dig it. Good list, Adam.
Yeah.
Steele's list is good too, but I mean,
yes,
I like Adam's
Steve's
better.
list is a real solid ogre list. I love Adam's list. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to play, and I think he does a lot of everything with this
He
list,
does.
and so I think he can handle a lot of different situations. I'm going to go with Adam.
Well, I'll be contrary. I'll say Mike. Boom. There it is.
Face.
I'm sure he loves your charity, Rob.
No, I for some reason I like this. I don't know why, but I like this. I think.
Well,
Mike's
yeah,
got
you
it.
play a lot of ogres. Tell us why you like it.
Well, this is not the best matchup, but you never know what the scenario could be, and if
Yeah.
you get there are some of these scenarios that we're playing that it could be in Mike's favor, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, we keep saying this, right? It's obviously not just going to be army lists and player skill. There's going to be the terrain setup and the scenario.
Right.
So it's going to dictate a lot. And so I think Mike, Mike's going to do it. I feel for him.
Yeah, I think this will be a little bit closer than I think we're giving credit for here. I don't necessarily like Mike's list a whole lot, but it is a good list, and demands some respect on the field because he's got that horde of shooters and a horde of boomers. So I mean, he's got the reach for sure. He's got enough defense to stand up to quite a bit of stuff. Berserker Braves will put down a serious hurt on stuff if they get, to touch something for sure.
By the way, newsflash, I just got messaged by Adam. I pronounced JT's name right, so y'all can suck it.
Hooray!
That's twice I was right today.
Yeah.
Probably
Now
the
when
only
you said
time.
it, you're going to be Jerry Page, right?
Yeah.
I bet it for Jerry Page, so if
Yeah,
I'm wrong... Sorry, anyway, sorry, go ahead. My bad.
It's okay.
It's just convenient that we were talking about Adam.
Yeah. I think Mike is gonna do a lot better or keep it a lot closer than you think. And the stay power on it's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of the Palace Guard. I know people take them in the elf list. I just can't wrap my mind around why. They're all right. They're just kind of okay. And he's got a lot of stuff that goes down pretty quick. To just even light shooting and like a little touch for combat. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Mike on this one. Just my gut. If I had the two list, I would rather have Mike's list.
Yeah, I just feel like he has enough speed there to get to Mike's shooters and things relatively quickly to kind of shut him down and lock him down, and then.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just think like the super nimbly fast stuff is not really gonna. I mean, ogre shooters and boomers, they still hurt in combat. Like let's not joke around. They'll still punch you in the face.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a fun game to watch, actually.
Yeah. Is that it for table 31? Are we ready to move on to 32?
Yeah, I think we got all the votes in for 31, so let's bounce
up to
32.
Chris Fisher, representing the Mid-Atlantic from the Mid-Atlantic against my hero, Keith Randall from the Southeast, representing the Southeast.
All right. I have got Chris's list. Let me find it. It's the one marked M. Fisher, right?
M. Fisher, yep.
That's the one.
No, M. Fisher's his brother.
Okay, so is he...
He is... It
says Christopher Fisher.
Yeah. But it says Kings of War Masters - Christopher Fisher.
Oh, okay, there it is. Cool. Thanks. Alrighty. Oh, joy, more brotherhood. Well, how can I fuck this list up? All right.
I have faith.
Yeah, I do too.
He actually didn't pick out all the really tough ones to pronounce.
He's only got a few in there, right?
Water.
That's the one.
Water.
Water elementals. He's got two hordes of those. One has Brew of Courage. One has the Holy Hand Grenade of Kabah. He has the Order of the Abyssal Hunt. He has that in a regiment form. He has them with the Caterpillar. We have an Order of the Forsaken in horde format with Brew of Strength. We have two sets of Valayan Siege Artillery. We have two Forsaken Beasts. Breath attack upgrades on both of those. We have a Devoted with Surge 5, an Inspiring Talisman. And then we have two Exemplar Forsakers. One has the Blade of the Beast Slayer, and one has the Brew of Haste. Pretty solid list here.
Yeah, it's a good list. This is going to be a good game because on one side you got Chris, other side you've got Keith with elves, and he has a horde of Kindred Archers with the Jar of the Four Winds. He has a troop Blade of Slashing. He has a troop of Silverbreeze Cavalry with Fire Oil. He has two hordes of Dracon Riders, one with Sharpness, the other with Haste. He has a Bolt Thrower. He has an Elven Mage with Bane Chant. And because this is what you do, he's got two Dragon Kindred Lords, one with the Boots of Levitation with Chant of Hate.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, so, I mean, realistically, yes, that Brotherhood list is good. Keith's list is pretty damn good, too. He's been playing the crap out of it. I mean, he is... Well, I mean, there's only so many times you can beat Todd Perkins, but, you know...
Oh, is there a cap?
Yeah.
You can only beat him so many times?
Yeah. Eventually he's gonna... Well, eventually he'll lose. Right. So, but I think... I don't know. You guys talk first.
I think I like Chris's list a lot better if those Forsaken Beast had the ensnare upgrades.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they
I
had
just
ensnare.
feel like you really need that. I don't think it's a bad list. The Exemplar Forsakers, like, honestly, they don't have the breath weapon that Keith's dragons have, but they're a shit ton cheaper and they're pretty much as much stay power.
Yeah.
So you can knock those down out of the sky. I mean, he definitely, this is not going to be a big way one way or the other. But what I do think Chris has here is the stay power over the elves. With he has Pathfinder with the water elementals. He has defense 5 and regen with the elementals. He's got regen with the Forsaken. I mean, he's got a lot of stay power here. Let's not.
He does have a little surge in there that he can sneak in too.
Yeah. So, and he has the Order of Abyssal Hunt, and there's plenty of monsters that he can use that on.
Yep.
Right.
So, I personally, I like the Brotherhood list better in this matchup. In my opinion, I really would like to have seen the ensnare on those Forsaken Beasts, and I think that would be massive in this matchup.
I don't know, Keith. How experienced is Keith?
Very experienced. He will typically finish in the top 3 at all of our events.
So I think experience could be the difference here. Chris is another one of those guys that's a little bit newer to the scene for the Mid-Atlantic. He's gone to Keystone. He did pretty well there. I think that was like a 45-person event. So he has been to a larger event. But, you know, Keystone versus the Masters, it's a completely different field, completely different set of players. I think Chris definitely has the tools that can pull out in this matchup, but it's whether or not Keith allows him to see that before it's too late. And with Keith having experience over Chris's experience, he may be able to pull some wily tricks that Chris doesn't see. So I'm going to vote for Keith, even though I think Chris could do it, and I think he does have a solid list that is a bit more favorable.
Gotcha. I like Chris's list, but hearing what I heard about the experience level, if Keith has been performing in the top 3 in everything he goes to,
yeah, it's a big deal,
dude. With those 3-4 units that fly and the other unit is speed 10, he's got a lot of speed. He's going to be able to play that off probably to a level that Chris may not have encountered yet. And again, Chris, this is not doubting you, but more of kind of going with the experience here. So I'm going to go with Keith here too.
This is a tough one to call because
It's very tough.
I feel like both have the tools to counter the other. A bit on this. It's hard to bet against a couple of Drakon hordes escorted by dragons. I feel like, you know, some of these units can get picked off, but at the same time, I feel like Chris has he has some fast stuff that he can counter back with, and it's going to kind of come down to who makes the first jump in and how that goes, because if it doesn't go right, that you know, the person that's going to take the risk first, it could go badly. I will say, you know, knowing how the terrain is set up and stuff, and a lot of cover and stuff, those siege artilleries, you know, having indirect fire is going to be a slight advantage over the bolt thrower. That's going to be, you know, not as dangerous on the fields. And having 2 of those, if something goes right for Chris early on, he could
be a big swing.
It could be a big swing. So you know what? I'm going to bet on. I can't bet against experience though. I keep going back and forth. I'm going to go with Keith, since he's been a top player in his region for quite some time here. I think he knows what he's doing with these units, but I think it's going to be a good game between the 2 of them.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, it's just me, Chris.
Yeah,
just me, Chris. I'm the only one. Only one that picked you, Chris. Prove them all wrong.
I'm the last one, right? So I want Keith to remember a long time ago when we were going through the Sundering, and he looked at me and goes, I don't think Kings of War is a game I'd ever travel for. I just don't see it. And where he is today.
Wait, can I change my vote now?
No.
Yeah.
But
Is this
to
a
be fair,
redemption story, or is this let's get pissed off at Keith story?
No, this is I was right story that Keith's been playing at such a high level. He hangs in there with the George O'Connells, the Sean Williams, all the guys in our region. He's been playing this list or some permutation of this list for the entire time.
Oh.
And he is tactically the kind of player that could take you apart, and then you realize, an hour into the game that the game's lost because you weren't paying attention. So go with Keith, obviously. But I do like Chris's list. I do like the fact that it can take a punch. It's got some regen. It's got some defense 5. It's got Pathfinder. So if Keith makes a bonehead move and gets drugged down into an actual scrum, it could go a different direction. Maybe Keith's got the tools to move, and pick the fights, and then get out of it. But he just, it could be. Don't let if Keith doesn't let Chris pull him into a street fight, then he'll be fine.
Fair enough.
I think that's it for all the games that matter, right, guys?
Yep. I think we're good.
Yeah, that's it. So thanks to everybody for coming on and.
Sounds good. See you guys next time.
Table. Actually, I gotta pull this. I closed it all out. I totally forgot we had one more table.
Yeah.
All right, so we
It
do have a
happens.
table.
It doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
Table 33.
I'm sure someone's gonna drop and have to play this other asshole anyway.
Yeah. So we've got Tim Smith from the Southeast against Mr. Swan. And no, we didn't set it up this way. We didn't pick Jeff to be last.
I picked him to be last.
Yes, I know that. But I mean, I didn't. The scorekeeper set all the matches. So he just handed us the list he handed me. So Jeff, why don't you take us through Tim's list?
Yeah, I would love to. All right. So
Wait,
we got
did you
Tim.
change shirts?
Yeah, my other one was getting hot. I had both shirts on from playing at the shot today.
The only person with a wardrobe change, people. This think about what he's committing for you. Come on. This is quality entertainment.
AC at that shop today, man. I'm telling you, it's cool. All right, so we got Tim, and Tim is playing Herd. I love me some Herd. All right, Tim has a very different list, and I think it's kind of cool. Is he one of your guys?
He is. He's one of our guys.
I think it's kind of cool. His code for I can kick the shit out of this.
No, how often do you see this many tribal hunters? Nobody else takes them. I love them. All right, so he did it right. He took two troops of the tribal hunters and gave them the throwing weapons. Smart way to do it. And he took 2 regiments also with the throwing weapons. One of them has fire oil because he had some extra points laying around for those.
I have him taking bows for everything.
No, swap throwing weapons for bows. So it means he has throwing weapons. It says right on the actual thing if you look over where it says Pathfinder throwing weapons Vanguard.
Oh, never mind.
Swap throwing weapons for bows.
I thought he has
means
bows.
he took bows.
Yep.
Right.
I don't think so.
They come with
They come with
bows.
throwing weapons.
Do they?
Standard,
Yes.
and then he swapped them out for bows.
Oh, then you're doing it wrong, Tim. Just say that you have the throwing weapons.
All of a sudden.
Why the hell would you take the bows,
I agree with you,
man?
Jeff. I like
what
the
are
throwing
you
weapons.
doing? No, sir. Take. You know what, Tim? I'll give you option. You play what you play it either way you want.
Sorry, keep going, Jeff.
Why would you take the goddamn bows? It's such a anyway. Anyway, harpies. He's got 2 troops of harpies. He's got a horde of guardian brutes with the caterpillar. You got to take it on them. He's got 2 troops of beast packs. He's got 2 hordes of stampedes. He's rolling it Dan King style with a blessing of the gods and chant of hate. He's got a shaman with heal 5 and scrying gem, so he can see where stuff is going. And to round it all out, he's got the avatar of the father with fly and heal.
All right. I think I'm reading Jeff's list.
Yep. Save the worst for last.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Bringing Abyssals with Ifrit, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Flamebearer Regiment with Fire Oil. Succubi Regiment. An Abyssal Guard Regiment. 2 regiments of Tortured Souls, one with the Warbow of Kaba. Troop of Hellhounds. Notice no hordes at this point.
I don't play hordes.
We have an Abyssal Champion with the wing upgrade and ensorcelled armor. And we have 2 Afrits, one with the Boots of Levitation. And we have the Well of Souls, the Archfiend of the Abyss with the wing upgrade to round out to the 2,000 points. Who would like to tell Jeff how Tim's going to beat him?
Well, the problem, I mean, I'll cut to the chase. The problem is Jeff knows how to play the army better than Tim does, probably. So,
I'll play Tim's army. Tim plays my army, and then
I mean, sorry, Tim.
I love Tim to death, but I mean, this was not a good draw for him, right? I mean,
well, and in my opinion, Tim's not playing a very optimized herd list either.
No.
It's a fun list. This would be a fun list to throw down and play more on a casual basis. I agree with Jeff completely. If he would have had the throwing weapons, there's actually some fun kind of tricks you can kind of do, and you're not taking those penalties for moving and shooting and things like that. And that's a fair number of shots since you're kind of moving around and getting in front of things and still taking shots. With the bows, they're not much of a ranged threat, though he can sit back a little bit and shoot, but that's not going to help him in this matchup. So, of course, my pick is going to be for Jeff Swan, probably our top-ranked player in the nation at this point and the man to beat.
Don't get him started.
It's okay. I can mute Jeff. So
thank you.
yeah, I mean,
I'll throw in real quick. I play this list a lot. Jeff varies it up every now and then, but he always plays it to a really high level. And Tim, you're walking into a fucking buzzsaw, dude. It almost doesn't matter what you do.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, like it's bad, dude. One false move and Jeff will pick your ass apart. So I'm sorry. Hey, you're gonna have a fun game though.
It will be a fun game. We're gonna drink.
It'll be really quick.
And Tim is a super fun guy to play as well. So Tim is a super fun guy. So
good.
Well, I know we want to talk about some awards, but before we do that, I wanted to talk about.
I don't get to vote on the final.
Yeah,
shit, I just figured everybody. It was such a landslide. I think it was 5-0.
Well,
I didn't get to vote either.
I'm just going to vote to be contrary for Tim. You know, he's going to roll in. He's going to boxcar everything. It's going to be like everything's going to go his way, and then
Not with those bows, he's not.
We will have to come up with some kind of an award for Tim if he pulls out the win, Jeff.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. I will automatically lose so that he'll get the award.
Well, Jeff, you did say that every tournament you've won, you lose the first round, right?
It is 100% accurate. I will, whether it's a small loss or a tie or something like that. I have never won a tournament outright that I won game one.
Hold on.
So maybe he's going to throw it. I'm just saying.
Oh shit! No, never mind.
If we let him win the first game,
this tournament, then.
No, I forgot. I won Lady Lake. I forgot.
Tim, you can be the savior of Masters. Just lose to Jeff, and then he can't win.
Damn it! No, I forgot. I beat round one at Lady Lake. I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Did anybody else need to vote on this?
Nah, I think Tim's got this one. Tim, swap out for throwing weapons, and you win the game.
All right, so we're gonna get to talking about who we think are some of the award winners and where people might place. Before we get there, let's talk about the army breakdowns. There's 21 armies. 2 armies are not represented, Anybody gander a guess?
League of Rordio.
Yeah, League. That's one.
Oh.
Yeah,
Salamanders.
Salamanders.
Yeah.
Two. All right, so those are the two that are not present. Which army is the most popular?
Thanks to the Midwest, Abyssal
you
Dwarves.
fucking bastards.
Abyssal
Hands
Dwarves is
down.
number 3, actually. Abyssal Dwarves is number 3.
elves and then undead.
Elves.
Hey, Chris, you may not win your game, but you're smart. You got this. So, all right, yeah, Elves is the most popular army with 9. Undead has got 8. Abyssal Dwarves has got 7. Dwarves have got 5. Abyssals has got 4. Goblins 4. Night Stalkers, Ogres, and Varangur all 4. 3 Empire of Dust, 3 Ratkin, 2 Brotherhood, 2 Forces of Nature, 2 Herd, 1 Kingdoms of Men, 1 Orc, 1 Trident Realms, and 1 Twilight Kin. So we got 19 out of 21.
Abyssals was 3? There's 3 of them?
Abyssals is
4
way
or
down.
5, right?
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's tied for 5th place.
Okay.
4 armies are Abyssals. But yeah, so we have 19 out of the 21 armies. That's pretty cool.
good.
And we got a good spread. Elves doesn't surprise me. People are just trying to get that last little bit in before we take away their tools, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The dragons, anyways, right? I mean,
They're going to be unplayable now.
Right.
right. Well, you can't. They're gonna be garbage.
Actually, you know
And
what?
they
is
shoot
good-
more.
I think the thing that will make us see the dragons even less, not unplayable by any means, but more so than just the items that are being recommended to not be allowed in tournaments, is the chart that, like, you were using at Lone Wolf, Mark.
The
and I
score
was
units
using
chart.
Exactly, at
Yeah.
Lady of the Lake. That changes the use of those units a lot. Because when you're spending 300 and some points on a unit that only scores 1 point, that changes things big time. So,
And we're not playing
that's
kill
not-
scenarios.
Right.
But we're not doing that this one. So bring out your dragons. Go ahead, Rob.
I think George just kind of went into all the hobby stores and bought all the dragons.
Well, I think they're all down here in the southeast.
Dragons Coast.
Well, you were asking us for some predictions or something, Rob?
Yeah. I guess let's start with and by the way, everybody knows the 6 scenarios we're playing, right? In some order: loot, control, pillage, invade, push, and dominate.
Sounds like a Saturday night.
Yeah. In the Mark Cox household.
That's right. Push and dominate.
So yeah, we put everything to a vote, and it was pretty much a landslide to remove the kill, and the kill and the pillage.
Well, kill and pillage, yeah, that one got 0.
Right.
That scenario
So-
sucked.
Let's start with what's the nastiest list? I mean, I already know what the answer is, but go ahead and tell me I'm right.
Jeff Swan, just outright. So,
You were so wrong on
you
so
could
many
put
levels.
this in anybody's hands. I could put it in my 8-year-old's hands, and they'd walk away with the win. So.
The internet's exploding.
I've got to go with either Aaron Chapman or Shannon Shoemaker's list.
Yeah, I
Shannon's
agree.
list.
I think
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Aaron and Shannon. I think another one that's going to be super sneaky under the radar, but is just absolutely a amazing list. Not probably the hardest list, but probably one of the best lists. There is Robbie King's troll list.
Yeah,
It's
that'll sneak up on
absolutely
people.
So powerful, such a powerful list.
I agree with that. I don't know. Georgia's list is pretty darn tough too. With
Yeah.
all those regiments of forest shamblers to just get in your way.
He got a lot of
and then-
kryptonite in that field, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Aaron's list is the worst.
And by worst, we mean like going to kick the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Right,
Worst
right,
as
right,
in like
Right.
Right.
best,
So when you're
best for the Masters. Yeah.
right.
No pressure, but yeah.
That's what Aaron does, though. I mean, he pretty much calculates and takes the best. Always takes the best army he could possibly take. Yet he still hasn't won a tournament this year. I don't know what happened.
Well, this year's only 2 months in, so
Well, last year.
Yeah, I think you guys
Anybody
hit
else?
those that really jumped out. for me as the nastiest stuff. I think at the end of the day, though, the nice thing about Kings of War is the difference between a nasty list and a list that's less nasty really isn't that big.
No,
It's
no,
true.
no.
Because you can beat all these lists,
Right.
Aaron's, but
Except Aaron's.
maybe I'm talking from personal experience.
I think the other one is Bowman. That's another standout.
Yeah, Bowman's is rough, but yeah, I'm not going to say it.
What about the countercharger, the guy that's going to finish perfectly mediocre, right smack dab in the middle of 66 players?
That'll be me.
Well, Mark's gonna finish below that, so
No, I just have to finish below Patrick, Jeff, and Todd.
yeah, he's just gonna. I can guarantee you, he's gonna finish below Patrick, me, and Todd because he's driving with us out there. So he's guaranteed.
I love
Wherever
how I
everybody else-
just said that joke, and you're
Guaranteed. The boat anchor.
I predict Mark doesn't come in last in your car.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that is a bold prediction. I predict Mark's dropping right now.
Yeah.
It looks like it. Looks like it.
So I want to
Mike
pick.
Rossi. Mike Rossi for countercharger. That's who I'm getting.
Okay.
Rossi's going to catch some people out, but I think he's going to have some hard time against lists that he hasn't faced before.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to say Todd Perkins because he's one of these guys that does really
Nice.
well, gets to the top tables, and then gets crushed back down to reality. But if I don't say Chris Gibney, he will more. So Chris's goal in life is to be perfectly average at everything. So I'm gonna go with Gibney.
Oh man, that's a good call, man. Yeah, throw me on the bus with Gibney on that one. I think Gibney is a solid countercharge option for sure.
I love Mark's frozen picture,
Mhm.
like a salesman on some kind of info. All right, so we also
But wait,
have on.
there's more.
But wait, there's more. So what about the Paragon? Who do we think is going to be the best general, sport, and appearance combined? Who's going to be like what we would traditionally call overall?
Robbie King.
Good choice there.
Robbie
was it,
King
John
is my-
Vanasse?
that's mine.
Yeah, John, that's an interesting pick.
He's a great
You know,
general. He's a really good painter, and then he's also an awesome guy to play against. He's got the three pillars.
Yeah, that's Robbie's thing too. He's great painter, good to play on the table, great lists, knows what he's doing. I think Robbie.
My vote out of my region is going to be Jeff Schiltgen. Jeff corrected me, and when I had mentioned that he had almost as many GT wins as Mike Gerald. Jeff was on the fantasy scene for GT scene a bit before I was. He's actually won Adepticon multiple times. He's won a lot of GTs. I think he's going to give people a lot of run for their money. And he has an amazingly well-painted army. He's been working on it. It's got a beautiful display board. I think he's going to pull in really high marks on the paint. And I don't think there's going to be a big swing in the sportsmanship points. Jeff, I'm going to call him for the Paragon.
I'm looking at the list here, and I'm going to say something crazy, and Jake's going to go, I'm going to say Greg Person.
I could see it. I would not.
He's already got sports and paint locked in. He's
Right.
great.
He just
great
has to
those
play.
two.
He just has to play decent.
Just got to play
So-
decent and just
so we're
win.
doing Paragon?
Just win like
Yeah.
Mhm.
just win
Okay.
like 3 out of 3 for Greg,
Right.
you know, and he's got a shot.
Yeah, I can see it. He'd be my second choice over.
I think it's still going to take more than 3 wins to get the Paragon award.
What?
I think there are going to be.
I
think the
can
Paragon's gonna be
I
like
can
5
promise you from
wins out of
years
6.
past it's going to take more than 3 wins. Yeah.
I could actually go with 2 people out of my region, Andrew Heinrich and Robbie King. Both have very well painted armies. Both are very fun to play against, and both really do well in the battlefield. So I don't know everybody in the field, so it's hard for me to pick. But if I had to pick for my home region, I'd probably pick those 2.
Yeah, I already picked Robbie as well.
Did
so.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Awesome. So let's talk about the master, the one that's going to beat Face. Who wants to start?
I don't know,
let me ask
man.
a question here first. Do we think the Master will win all 6 games?
No,
No.
not at all. I
I
think
didn't think
4
so either.
wins.
4,
Four. I
1,
think 5.
and 1. That's my prediction.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I see 5 wins. That's what I
That's like 5 wins too.
I think 4-1-1. All right, I think you 4 and 2. 4 wins
4-0
and
and
2
2.
ties. Yeah, 4-0-2.
I think you do 4-0-2 or you do 4-1-1.
I think if you're going for someone who just really is a tight technical player, has the list to get it done, I want to say Shannon has got a really good shot at it, but I think that Aaron is gonna be my call on it. Aaron Chapman.
Well, you took my vote then. I would also say Shannon. I mean, again, I don't know if Shannon's been practicing with the clock. If he has, I could see Shannon doing it.
That's why I chose Chapman.
Yeah,
instead.
no, I know.
Wow.
If you remove those two from the field, as far as what you can pick, because Jeff's already picked 2 with 1 vote, Dick.
No, I picked Aaron.
Yeah, right. You said 2 names. I'd actually go with Jeff. I think Jeff's got a really good chance.
I'm gonna
Shake
pick a
your
name.
head.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick a name that no one's talking about, and it's our best player in the Southeast, Sean Williams. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I'm going to go with Alex Chavez from my region. Dude's really solid player. He hasn't gone around to Southeast or anything like that, but I played against him. I played against Shannon, and I'd say they're on equal level.
Yeah.
And
Did we all just pick?
timeout.
Did we all just pick the guy number 1 in our region to win the event?
No.
Alex is number 3 in the region. I'm over him.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Just check.
I think Aaron's like number 5 or 6 or something.
Shannon and Shoemaker is our number 1. It's hard to pick against Shannon, but I'll tell you who's even harder to pick against, and it's Jeff Swan.
I agree.
I'm not gonna win this. I tell you right now.
He's going to throw his last game.
I'll tell you.
I told you.
Anybody who can walk out to the West Coast, play in a tournament with a Trident Realms list just handed to you, and pull off the win, that says something. And you're experienced with your list. I think you're the top player tactically in the nation, so I'm picking you, Jeff.
Oh, no pressure.
Yeah, right. God. Just because I went out to his tournament and took all of his trophies home, I don't know what's back.
You can play back that video of Jeff just basically standing up next to me for the whole time. I was
Jeff should just hand himself his trophies next time. Hey, did you guys do favorite list yet? While I dropped out.
We did.
We
You
did.
mean nastiest list?
No.
Nastiest list?
Favorite list.
No, we haven't done favorite list.
No, we didn't.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Like
favorite list?
like either most fun, most interesting, looks really good. Like favorite list.
I like Jeff O'Neill.
Yeah.
190
God, I
plus
hate
shots.
that list, but
22
Wow.
goblin.
Ugh.
I love it. I love it. I think in a lot of scenarios where you're trying to get somewhere, to hold something, great list to have.
so I'm having a hard time here. I don't think anybody's gonna pick my other one, but I gotta give a shout out to Scott Holcomb and West Coast. That's a really solid list. I know how good he wields that Abyssal Dwarf list, but for me, I think you have to go with someone from our region that is playing something super out of the box, something people just don't see, and near and dear to my heart. That Trident Realms list from Brian Coakley is just
It's a
super
good list. It's a good list.
legit. It's gonna really catch people off on a lot of stuff when they're not used to seeing it. And the guy is just cool as hell, and the army looks cool. Like it's just it's a very versatile list, and I really like it a lot.
I'll tell you who mine is. I like Seth Cook's orc list.
Just loving you right now.
Just jump up and punch you in the face list. Like that's all it does. That's all it just wants to punch you in the face.
Well, you haven't met Seth yet. That's all he does.
I bet he does. And I can't wait till he pops Robbie one.
He's got the exuberance of Ryan.
That's
so.
great. That's great. Yeah, no, his list like popped off the the numbers at me, and I want to play that list, either with it or against it.
I'm going to go for the 6 hordes of Skaven list. I can't remember who was using it.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I like
gosh,
that list.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
That one looked really cool. It looks like a lot of fun to play with, and I think just the way it would look on the board, you could do so much with it to make it just look awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. I know he's
I think
playing
it
against
was
James
named
Valdez.
Tim, right? Tim?
Was that Tim?
Yeah, Timothy Bowie.
Yeah, Tim Bowie.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got my vote. I
Real
like
cool
that
dude.
list.
Yeah, it's a real cool guy too.
Chris, you come up with one yet?
This is so hard, and I don't want to pick any of the just broken flyer, bring all the dragons crap. Who had the 6 hordes of trolls again?
That's Robbie King.
Robbie, that would be fun to just push.
It's
that
a beautiful army too. It's really nice looking.
Yeah, you're gonna like it when you see it.
Is he, just out of curiosity, is he using any Atlantis miniatures, any of those trolls for that?
No, he's got a
they're all
bunch of old
GW.
G-dub.
Hey,
Okay.
Chris, that is a great segue to name drop one of our sponsors for the Masters. That's
their
fantastic.
trolls are beautiful.
And we're going to add 2 trolls, a wyvern, some orcs, and some goblins there. So
Excellent.
awesome.
That's awesome. They
I'll
have
pay you
great
later.
looking models. I have some in hand, and they are amazing. They are amazing. So I'll pick that one. Robbie King's list.
Cool.
Okay. So we still have to. We've already talked about Master, Countercharger, General, our U.S. Master, Nastiest List, Best List, Dark Horse Candidate. And I'm going to go first, and people's heads are going to spin. But if George can stay at the fucking table and play his game, he could pull this shit off. Because he's a good player when he gets his mind focused on what he's trying to do. He takes his pills.
I could see him doing it with that list.
Yep. He's a good player. So, I mean, that's my pick for the Dark Horse Candidate, the guy that no one's going to see coming. Well, they'll see him coming. They just won't realize it when he runs them over, right? I guess.
I took one glance at that list and I went, "Oh crap! I hope I don't have to play that."
I could
Dark
go
Horse
with
for the win.
Yeah, I could go with Brad McKay. He is a top qualified candidate, and he's been at Masters a couple of times, but I still don't feel like people really know him because he's not really an extrovert. He doesn't go around and talk to a whole lot of people. Like he talks to people he knows when he goes to events. He doesn't really go out of his way to, talk to new people. So his name's not really out and around, but he's a really, really solid fucking player. And I could totally see him taking a top spot at Masters. Even though he's only got that 3-3-3 drop list, he plays it really, really well. And I will be right
Jeff
back.
is pontificating over there like a mother.
I am gonna go with my West Coast buddy Scott Holcomb. I think that if you're gonna go dark horse, I always pick Scott to be like a top 10 in a big tournament, but just never to straight up win it.
Always
And
a bridesmaid.
Yeah. He always does well. His pain is really good. It's not like the most top tier, but tons of conversions on the army, tons of freehand, great basing. The dude's been playing forever. I mean, he's been playing since 3rd edition Warhammer. I mean, just a really good player. It's good to see him finally taking the time to make Masters happen for him this year because he's always so busy. But that Abyssal Dwarf army that he has has all the tools. It's there's a lot of Abyssal Dwarf armies in here, right? And they just kind of have one kind of theme to them where it's just I'm going to take lots of stones, I'm going to take lots of shooting, or I'm going to do lots of this. I think the balance that Scott has in his army, I think makes him a really good candidate for Dark Horse, and I would not be surprised to see him
That's
at the
a good
minimum
pick.
a top 10.
That's a real good pick.
What is the dark horse candidate?
That's like somebody who you think is capable of winning, but nobody's really been like, oh, this guy.
Okay.
So kind of walking in, maybe unheard of or maybe new.
I think Steve Bassler from my region is going to do a lot better than his experience is going to show. This is the Twilight Kin dude. I think using an army very few people are using is going to give him a little bit of an edge. I also think he plays against Alex and Mike, and they're both such top-notch players that he's playing on a field that is higher than I think a lot of people are getting in their local shops or in their clubs, and that's sort of the norm for him. So I think he's going to go into this, and it's going to feel just like every other day kind of gaming for him, where he'll have some tight games, he'll have some games he has some trouble with, but I think he's going to do well.
I like his list too. It's a very good list. I like it.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty much variants of that list all year, so he's got experience with it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Is you could talk about what's in the list all day long, but I mean, honestly, when you have the tools and you've been playing variants of the list for so long, it's just second nature. You know what all the units do already. Right. So
the worst is when you switch something and you forget that you switched it, and you're like, oh, I always take this on.
Yeah, you got to have that comfort level, I think. So. All right,
well,
did everybody get one in?
My dark horse is going to come out of right field, and because nobody's talking about this guy winning the whole thing, and yet I do think he has a legitimate shot to win the whole thing, and that's Mark Cox.
I was gonna say it's got to be Mark.
No fucking way, man. Nope.
Oh yes, you have a shot. You have a really solid list, and you know how to play
very
it.
Good.
I think I could do 0 to 0. Get me 3 or 4 wins and then take 2 hard losses on day 2. Yeah.
No.
That list doesn't hard loss.
It does though. It did today.
If someone
true.
manages to drink you under the table, okay, but I don't see that coming. So
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Do we want to do Iron Liver before we do top regions? Who's going to be the drunkest person at the tournament all weekend?
Is Drunk Dan coming?
Nope.
No.
I didn't see him on the last.
Yeah, he might be next year though. He got the bug at Shiloh.
I'm going to go with Seth Cook. Robbie's going to get him so liquored up, he's not going to know what hit him.
They're doing 4 locos. They're doing the 4 loco challenge.
Yeah.
I've already been told. He's
hardcore, man. He's hardcore. And I know Robbie is. So
yeah.
Watch out for flying Skittles.
Ironically, that's what Robbie calls his trolls.
Yeah, it's literally. All right, we want to go to top 3 regions.
Well, who do you think is going to get the drunkest?
Oh well, I'm gonna go with Mark.
Yeah, that I do get behind.
There is a 0% chance Mark wears his pants the whole weekend. 0% chance.
Well, he is the biggest cock in the South.
The best cock.
Oh, best cock. Okay.
Not necessarily the biggest, just the best.
I think he kept his pants on the entire Lady of the Lake. Maybe not in the evening at the party, but I know he lost his shirt.
I think he tried to no pants dance with Sam Becker, and then John told him that he was underage and that he would be soliciting a minor.
Only if he accepted. He turned me down. Prude. Yeah, I could see Robbie King getting up there and getting nice and trash too.
Yeah,
he will. It'll be the two of us.
I don't know most of the field, so I know
always vote Texas.
Yeah, are they from the South? Okay, vote them.
We've got a guy who's sticking on Mike so that he won't, drink himself out of the second day. So
nice.
Be an IV bag, like a good alcoholic. Top 3 regions. You guys want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ooh,
I know mine.
I think the South is the region to beat for top region right now. I mean, I think I'm pretty content saying that.
That's a fair assessment.
Second, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you. Go ahead, Jake.
No, go ahead.
This is what's going to happen. Midwest is 3rd. South is 2nd. Southeast is first. Boom.
Wow.
Mic
Really?
drop. Yeah.
It's a bold prediction.
Top to bottom, dude. This is a strong team, and I mean it's a strong team.
No, yeah, y'all's team.
I mean,
y'all's
I
team
think
looks,
I think like
really
any of the guys that made the team, the 8 players, any one of those guys could win any of our events on any weekend because they're all bringing tough lists. They're playing a lot of Kings of War. They're beating the hell out of each other on a weekly basis. And like a lot of our guys are from the Huntsville, Birmingham, Alabama area, and like what you guys do up there with Aaron Chapman. They're pounding the crap out of each other. Or what you said about Alex and company, right? They're playing each other, and they're all playing at a high level. And so I also think some of those lists that they've put together might catch a few people out.
Yeah, the Southeast had very, 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 very strong lists. That's no doubt.
There's no subtlety in George's list, but no.
Yeah, my top 3 regions are going to be Southeast, Midwest, and South. Not necessarily in that order or anything, but those are probably the 3 that I think will be near the top, because I think that's where a lot of the games get played.
And also, Mid-Atlantic is a wild card in all this.
They are,
because
Northeast.
because we're only taking the top 4 scores to calculate best region.
Exactly.
So the cream has really risen to the top in those regions, and if those guys come up and do their fucking job, they could end up on the podium, right?
So I'm gonna go south, southeast, mid-Atlantic. Only because I've been to the mid-Atlantic. I've been to the Midwest. Of course, I've been to the mid-Atlantic. I've been to the Midwest. I've played against lots of the top players there. They're a really tough field, but I felt like I'm matching up all right against them. So I've got to go with my region to beat the known evil. But I haven't played any Southeast or South guys. So
are you referring to the Midwest as the known evil?
Yep, there we go.
Well, Chris, you did screw Krell over, right? So
God.
The problem with that Midwest team is they just got so many abyssal dwarves on there that
Yeah, there's going to be one game where they just can't get all the objective points. Yeah.
A lot of those abyssal players are playing for other regions too.
I know.
So you're sandbagging other regions, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying,
Lord,
putting mines into other regions to assure the top spot.
Hey, Kira, I've got to strategically deploy you so that Pacific Northwest doesn't beat us. Give me a break.
Here we go, known evil. I'm sticking to my story.
Mastermind. He's a mastermind. The Minnesota mastermind.
Dance puppets.
So I guess it's important to ask here. What are we counting? What placers are we counting? Is it the whole team, or is it the top 5 or
your top 4 performers? You go to battle first. If there's ties, you go to tiebreakers after that.
Well, I think if you're taking top 4, I think you have to also be looking at West Coast pretty hard, because we gave them a couple of really good South players on top of that.
Mercs don't count, right?
Oh, right. Are they not counting? Okay.
Yeah, Mercs don't count.
Then definitely not the West, because they only have 2 players.
2 players.
Right.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm kind of between on that.
You don't have to put it in order if you don't want to.
You don't have to have balls like me and just lay it out there.
It's accurate.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the problem is Southeast is going to be too dependent on their lists, is the way it looks to me on paper so far, and I don't know that they've been playing a lot of the scenarios where it's the scoring of the 5, 10, 15, and like a small win is a big win. I mean, it's the scoring on that is huge. So I think they're used to just beating people's faces in with what they've got there. It just looks like just a bunch of pounder lists. So I'm gonna leave Southeast out, but I'm honorable mention for 4th place, I think. And I think that
I like it. Wow. Now they're gunning for you.
I think it's really gonna be Midwest is gonna be bringing some pretty good players, just like highly strategic players with really rounded lists, and I think that's something you got to watch out for. Same thing with Mid-Atlantic. I saw a lot of tools in those boxes there. I'm gonna go with I agree. I think South is probably the region to beat, just because how active we are. But I'm gonna go with South. I'm gonna follow that with I'm going to go Mid-Atlantic, and then I'm going to say Midwest.
Wow.
So if you guys want to know how the data broke out based on our selections on where we thought wins were going to be, for regions that had 4 or more votes for that matchup, the South had 6, the Southeast had 4, the Northeast had 3, the Midwest had 1, and the Mid-Atlantic had 1. So that is 4 of the 5 of us or more thought that that particular region was going to win that matchup based on player and list.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of shocking, right?
Yeah. Well, I think South is kind of the region to beat. I'll echo Jeff there for a couple of reasons. Just because when you have GTs that big and you're pulling out wins and you're pulling your winners from that, it says something. But the Southeast has been pulling in. They've been putting together some pretty sizable tournaments, and it's pretty impressive what they're doing there. And so anybody qualifying from that region, I've got to count them in. So those are my 2 strongest regions that I would call. And then it's hard to not pick the Midwest. I mean, I think we are bringing some strong players. I don't think we're the region to beat, but I think we're going to give everybody a run for their money. So I'm going to come in there. But I'll tell you, I look at the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, and they are bringing some good players from those regions, and it could be any region. When you're only taking the top 4 and you have 3 or 4 really good players coming out of your region, if things fall right, you can take the top region. So
that's why I asked how many are we taking, because I mean that really, you're asking for the cream of the crop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in. I mean, to be fair, there's a little bit of parity here, right? So I mean, it really could, based on scenarios, matchups. I mean, any of these regions could take it.
Mm-hmm.
Get on a hot roll. Even the mountain region. I mean, they've got enough players. They've got some talent out there.
I think it really depends, to your point, on what the matchups look like in 5 and 6.
Right.
If you have 6 of the South players playing each other, well, they're going to weed each other out. Like, there's no way you're going to have 4 top South players if 6 of them play each other unless one vaults up from a lower table.
Yeah.
Or any region, you could say Southeast or.
Yeah, and I don't see like what we had in Warhammer where it was always the Northeast.
No.
I think that's completely opposite in Kings of War, because in Kings of War, it's a lot less about the list. It's more about the player and the matchup and the terrain and everything else.
And the rule system isn't as easy to game as it was in Warhammer, where it's like, cool, conga line. Cool. All right. Well, you can't kill me.
Yeah. I mean,
the core
Northeast
groups have completely changed.
Let's face it. And they were all playing each other from the ETC team, and they were all used to working in a comp system where, like, coming from the Midwest or coming out of the South, you guys, we weren't used to working with a comp system. So it was a tough hill to climb, beating the Northeast for best region. I would like to point out at the first Masters, though, coming out of the Midwest, we had top player, best sports, and best paint all coming out of the Midwest. We just missed the best team.
Right.
We actually started playing comp after year 2, and that's when in year 3, or maybe it was year
2, we tied for a region. We had to go through.
We tied for region, but that's because we started playing comp. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference if you're not coming from that comp background and walking into that environment. Yep. It's a completely different game.
Well, in Kings of War, I think the metas may be different across the country.
Oh yeah.
Just looking at but we're all still playing the same game, right? So even if you don't play that army or that style army often, you can wrap your head around it and you can be prepared.
I think that's the coolest thing about this Masters. We're seeing stuff on potentially an even field, but completely different play styles.
Right.
Yep.
And you've got the Abyssal Dwarf region. You've got the Double Dragon region.
That's why everything we said is complete garbage. Because who knows, right?
All right. Ready to shut it down for the night, guys?
Yeah.
Rob, did you want to do any shout out for your sponsors and stuff like that before we
Yeah, just a big thanks to Mom Miniatures. That just a big ass box of miniatures just showed up Friday. So they gave us all kinds of different sizes, little models, big models, everything in between. The support we've been getting from everybody, from Mantic to Atlantis Miniatures to Mom to Westphalia. I mean, everybody. Here's the thing: everybody knows how awesome Kings of War is. So I mean, everybody wants to be on this train, right? They all want to be part of it. So I'm looking forward to an awesome Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
should be a good time.
It will
See
be.
you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Man,
Less
not
than,
even 2 weeks. It's like a week and like 5 days.
right. Awesome.
Alrighty, fellas. Well, thanks for it. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks, and maybe we do something like this afterwards to recap. Maybe we don't. Who knows? There's going to be a lot of podcasts, I'm sure. But
Yeah,
Again.
let's just do podcasts.
thanks, Rob and Chris
Take so
and
much
Jake
time.
and Jeff for doing this. I know it takes a lot of time out of your day to set up for this crap and read through it. So thanks for doing that, guys.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Been great.
Later.
See y'all later.
See you.